paradigm of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural. And this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murderers, scum. They're on giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we wanna eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
Let's go, it's time to be the GOAT. It's time to enter God mode, man, let's get it going, yeah. We about to put on a show, these haters don't even know. They're in too deep like a hole. And they about to find out what it means when you enter into my house. How it feels when you always seem to strike out. Cause I don't lose, no I win, I go all out.
The air is filled up with suspense. We've got our dreams we must defend. And we know what we represent.
So we'll keep fighting till the end. And we'll keep fighting till we win. This is our calling, this is our calling. Yeah, we'll keep fighting till the end. And we'll keep fighting till we win. This is our calling, this is our calling. Yeah, we'll keep fighting till the end. This is our calling, this is our calling. This is our calling, this is our calling.
Are you guys aware that we almost see no titties in movies anymore? And we only see dicks? Hey, anyone know this? Yes, I love titties! Big old titties!
What's up, you beautiful bitches? We're back on a Saturday. I was going to stream Wednesday, but then there was people hanging out at my house to prepare for Thursday, and then I drank. Then I was like, well, I can't stream Thursday nor Friday because I'm dying. So here we are Saturday, and I'm glad you guys are back with us. I'm so excited. And also, we got Zia back.
Hi!
I'm so happy.
I don't know why my voice was so high. Go ahead.
Everything's working out so well. There's some crazy shit behind the scenes though, but it's working out. Not
I
for
just
us.
heard about it.
Well, not for you.
No, for me too, but just different from what's going on with you.
Everybody has something real.
Oh, dude, life has been kicking me in the absolute fucking ass lately.
Anything you can talk about cool?
No.
Oh, that's lame. Never mind.
Super not cool. Just like all bad news.
Why is everything always so bad?
I don't know. It seems like life goes through seasons where like for a bit things will be really cool, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I feel good. I feel like things are good, and then it's like, go fuck yourself, and I'm like, all right, cool, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Yep. It's very, very sad. And also there's stuff going on with our boy Nick Rekieta, who there was a report that came out the other day. I was going to stream it yesterday, but then I didn't because I was dying. Oh my gosh, man. I was in my bed, not throw-upping, which is surprising, but it was one of the worst hangovers I've had in like years. And I don't know why.
Worse than Content House hangover? Because that was
no.
Cody was dying.
That was the worst one. That was the worst one in like 5 years. But yeah, the one I had yesterday was like second place.
Okay, so it was close. You did throw up during the hang.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that. I was gone. I heard about it. But then you ate Popeyes, you threw up, and then you had more Popeyes, and you were good.
Oh, thank God for the Popeyes, bro. But you know, my worst one ever by far was I was hanging out with this girl, and I was trying to be a badass because I'm stupid, and I didn't have a lot of experience with drinking because I had been drinking for probably 6 months at this point.
Oh boy.
And because my ex-wife had just like dipped out, and I never drank until my late 20s. So I was like, yeah, I can drink. And so I started dabbling in it, and this girl comes over, and she was this voluptuous blonde girl, and she was just him. She looked great, and she apparently could drink, and I couldn't. And she ate like a bunch of Mexican food, and we drank, and then I got like 13 shots of, I don't even remember what it was, brandy or something, and blacked the hell out. And I had a 3-day hangover.
Dude, that's brutal. Well, I've been there before, but that's brutal. I think my worst is I probably almost died. Like I should have maybe died. I was 16 and I was drinking over, this was when I was in this band with these two brothers. It was Anthony and Dominic, and Anthony played guitar, Dominic played bass, I played drums. And I was over
I was like, what the hell did you do in this band?
Drums. And I stood there and I played the tambourine. But I was over there, and there was this Asian lady there. She was like this nurse lady. She was super nice. She's probably the only reason I didn't actually die. And we were drinking screwdrivers. Now, these guys are both like on the taller side, and I am 5. I've always been this size, like 5'2", maybe 110 pounds at the time, maybe even less, like so tiny. And I was drinking screwdrivers. My friend Shelly was there, who also was bigger than me. She's like 5'9" or something. Like she's a tall girl. And I completely blacked out that night. I don't remember anything. I woke up the next day at like 5 p.m. still drunk, like still absolutely hammered. I was wearing a shirt but no pants, and she was wearing a pants but no shirt, and I was wrapped around Shelly in bed. And I think that hangover didn't hit until later the next day, and it was like a week. I couldn't drink orange juice or vodka after that for like 5 years. It was
that's the thing is, I woke up yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Horrible.
Or yesterday. I woke up yesterday, and I like walked downstairs, and I'm like, I feel kind of bad, but I'll be all right. And within 5 minutes walking downstairs, I had to go back upstairs. I was like, I got to lay down right now because it's starting to get worse and worse and worse. We got so much to discuss on the nose front, and we may have a special guest here soon, which is going to be very surprising for everybody. But anyways, let's get to Billy Hatcher's $100 super chat because he's so crazy. Look at this man. Wow. Says Z on early for once, and I knew Cody wasn't going to be streaming on Thursday. Also, I haven't been keeping up with the news on Nick. Well, there's some pretty interesting things coming out. Thank you, Billy, so much, my friend. I'm trying to be lively. I'm still kind of suffering from this hangover, but all good. I will probably not drink for at least 2 months. That's the one good thing about a bad hangover. You just don't. Fuck, I'm not drinking. And then you just start drinking again eventually. Thank you, Billy. I love you. One red boy already down the hatch.
I do not miss it.
Third of the way to Naked Snake. I appreciate you. Or no one. Well, I guess it's this isn't technically Camel Thought, so we'll just say 1/3. Billy, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. For all your love. Ashley says my 2 favorites, Pretty Girl and Cody. I guess that's my name now.
Hi, Ashley, I love it so much. Every time I talk about it, I start giggling again.
Yeah.
Literally, dude, I was so tired on my stream. This is like life's just been kicking me in the ass. I can't even say words anymore. I at one point said that I was going to super cat Chody.
Yeah, well, at least I can get super chats.
Oh,
damn, get wrecked.
That was a low blow. God damn it. Low blow.
Yeah,
See,
well,
I still can't say words.
You showed your titties too many times.
They motherfuckers. You're now Chody though from now on, by the way.
That's what my sister called me growing up. No
Did
shit.
she really?
Yeah.
That's actually so cute.
Killer from Kentucky says Chody Chodinson. Thank you. I appreciate you. Killer. Thank you so much. Tim France, member 14 months, says get the hell on it, diggity dog on it. And Sean with a gift membership. Thank you. Love you, Sean. Andy Ackerman says fat boys still love you. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, my friend, for all your love, all the super chat love today. So we're gonna start from the very beginning because there was some new shit, and I was like, man, I'm gonna stream this tonight, and then I blacked out. So we did not do that.
I have not found out about this new stuff. Tell me. I don't know about the new things.
Oh, well, there's so much to talk about, man. There's so many things that happen, and then Nick went on. I still don't know, and if he should, well, if I can ask him in the future, I wanted to ask him why would go on Ralph's show, man. Like, I don't understand. Ralph, like, come on. When he announced that, I was so confused. When he was like, yeah, when Ralph's like, I got the first exclusive interview, and I'm like, how?
Motherfucker. Motherfucker.
Out of everyone, how is it Ralph? I'm so confused. So yeah, he did a whole show with Ralph. And I watched a little bit of it, and Ralph was like, I don't know what was happening, but he was tripping balls, man. I don't know if it was Xanax, but he was I don't know. I'm not saying he was on anything, but like for like the first 30 seconds, I'm like, I cannot understand what's happening.
So what, he like couldn't say words, or he was drowsy?
We'll find out. We'll bust through it real quick. We won't spend too much time on it. But thank you, Ashley. Another super chat, still giggling here. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it.
She said another super cat.
God damn it! You just created another language on your show in one show.
It's because I was tired because I couldn't say words. So mad.
Toasty with the mosty says thanks for the X follow. Ain't no thing. Thank you so much.
Chody.
Wolf says in the flesh it's raise hell, praise Dell. Z don't do the thing. Chody Penison. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hail Satan. I'm gonna do the hand thing.
Thank you. So anyways, we're gonna start from the very beginning of the stuff that started, and then we're just gonna go slowly through, and then we'll see if our surprise guest shows up. It'll be funny. It'll be cool and funny. So first things first, and this is something most everybody has seen by now because it was like the other day. It's just the state filed a discovery disclosure in Nick's case. All with the evidence that they're using, and all of this is pretty much stuff we already expected. But interesting enough, and this is something that's kind of weird because I felt like a lot of people said that this was not a thing, was using videos as evidence, like YouTube videos. And I think to myself, why not? Like, why not? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, why wouldn't you be able to, especially if they say stuff? Why would it not be admissible in court?
Right. And it says the following matters related to the above named case are hereby disclosed to the defendant or defense counsel. And this is just normal stuff. Police reports, defendant's driver's license, defendant's criminal history, defendant's statement, confession, admission, victim witness statement, interview, a transcript, blah, 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 search warrant, blah, blah, blah. And this is the interesting stuff because it says YouTube videos right here.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
YouTube videos right here. It's freaking wild. It's freaking wild. And photographs, everything. This is all normal stuff, but the YouTube videos is the most interesting part of it. And it would really suck to be the person involved, like to be the person responsible. It's like, hey man, we got a whole year's worth of videos that we want you to skim through. They're all 4 to 8 hours long.
Some paralegal is spending some real time. Also, on top of that, imagine the hourly rate for that. Holy crap.
Yeah, I would I quit. I'd be like, you know what? I'm not going to be the guy that goes through the tapes. It's like when you watch old crime shows and there was the new detective, and the new detective did not get along with the captain. So the captain would just make the new detective watch the VHS like footage over and over and like take notes, and they never got to prove themselves in the field until they go out and do it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like Dexter when his sister got made a lieutenant, or not a lieutenant, detective, and then LaGuardia just made her stay in the damn room looking at freaking VHS tapes the whole time. It was hilarious. But anyways, so get back in the window here. So that was like the big thing was just the fact that the YouTube videos are on there, and how that's being admissible is like discovery is pretty interesting. And then that lead in, then all of a sudden, so what I was watching on Twitter was people were like, oh, Nick's trying to snake Ethan Ralph. And I think snake means to not show up to a show. Oh,
okay.
So by the way, Nick has snaked me dozens of times. He snakes my ass all the time, or he used to snake my ass. Snaked me. Every time Nick was supposed to show up, and he snaked my ass. Well, anyways, people were saying that Nick was gonna snake. What's that? Ooh, hold on. We on, boy.
Oh,
Our surprise guest is gonna show up.
For realsies?
For realsies.
This is exciting.
It's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited.
Fun.
And the chat will be excited too. By the way, Billy Hatcher. Oh my God! Cody said super cat, now super chats for super cats, and I bet the guest will be Nick of all people. Thank you, Billy Hatcher. I appreciate you. I love you. Get the hell on it, diggity dog on it, Billy. Almost halfway to neck a snake already. By the way, let me give you guys some foreshadowing, and it's kind of sad because I can't talk about it until Monday, maybe. But Monday, if I don't say anything Monday, then disregard what I'm saying now. But Monday, there might be some pretty interesting news.
Is this the news that I know?
That's the news. Don't
Don't
say anything. If this news does indeed hit the airwaves, it's going to be on a lot of news stations and the main ones, and it will be kind of on the national circuit for a little while. Probably like a week or 3 days. I don't know. There's no telling what's going to happen, or nothing will happen. So that's kind of all up in the air. So you guys will see. You guys will see or not Monday. So gonna be very interesting. So thank you, Billy. I appreciate you. Rob would go, boy. Thank you, Rob. I love you. I appreciate you. You can get the hell on it. Diggity dog on it. And Danny Vox says if Cody starts an OnlyFans, he should call it Chody Fans. Oh my God. Thank you, Danny Vox. Appreciate you. What the hell is that? You just snort, bro. Come on. Come on. This is like we're having a professional show right now.
Yeah, this is so professional.
Oh my God.
This is the most professional show I've ever done.
All right, cool.
I'm taking my socks off.
Gross. So at any rate, I might wait until our surprise guest to start showing this here Ralph Amel stuff. It's gonna be very interesting. I come from the future. Thank you, Art. Yeah, that's totally what it is, by the way. Did you just take your socks off? Now people in the chat are already talking about your socks.
I'm sorry, they had to come off. I was getting hot. I drink hot water with lemon, and now my feet are hot.
I don't get how like feet stuff is a thing.
It's like, to me, it's so funny. Once you sort of discover all of the different kinks that are out there, that's the most tame one of all. When people are into feet, I'm like, yeah, that's boring. That's just whatever at this point.
Terrible. I don't get it. I think they're disgusting, atrocious. Anyways,
they do nothing for me either.
Yeah, dude. Like, well, yeah. I mean, for a guy, like, or for like a lady, a guy's feet are atrocious. I trust.
Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do with a guy's foot? I don't
Nothing.
want to suck on it.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, all right. Here we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play this. I wanted, because I was talking about this earlier and then I never elaborated on it. But this is old Ralph Amell over here, and it may now look. I have to admit something real quick. I've never watched Ethan Ralph, even for a second. So
Neither have I, but I hear his name get thrown around all the time. Didn't he get into a thing with Chrissy?
Probably.
Or am I making that up?
Probably. I think he got in something with Brittany Venti one time. I haven't followed it. But
Okay.
maybe he's always like this, but it just looks like
All right, I want to see this.
let's see.
Yeah, definitely. If you can get the quality up a
now.
little bit.
It'll come.
Okay.
I see you now, and so I wanted to ask you a few questions, of course, like
Oof.
like to a certain point.
He sounds kind of like Biden, but he's not old. Hold on, let's I'll speed it up just a hair here, so I can survive this.
In time, and not meant as a dig, but
with all this, man, I don't know. I was thinking I'm living life, doing a whole bunch of fucking life, and then this past month has been not the most fun part of it. But what was I thinking? Tough question. Because you're never ready. You're never ready for the government to come down on you. Like you're just never ready for that shit. So it's like one day, seriously, you're just life is normal, and then the next day you got a fucking sheriff's department in your house.
now,
Been there,
and
Nick.
of course,
Been there.
there's certain things.
Wait, what'd you say? You been there?
Been there, Nick.
You've had a sheriff just show up to your house and get you?
Oh, we had the DEA show up to our house.
It was your sister, obviously, yeah.
No, that was my dad.
Oh, well, goddamn.
Yeah, no.
Family.
We got like full on raided. Yeah, look, there's a very good reason I'm sober and I don't mess with alcohol or drugs, man.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it makes sense now as to why you would not. Billy Hatcher, by the way, with the orange boy says, will the body cam footage that's shown, will it be the body cam footage that's shown also is Rainbow Night and 285 till Naked Snake? Thank you, Billy Hatcher. I appreciate you. So the government runs at like pace, like snail pace. So expecting that footage, like the body cam footage, to be anytime in the future is kind of, I don't know. I don't think we'll see it. We'll probably see it'll be completely random. We'll probably have forgotten about it because people keep saying, "Oh, it's going to be Friday," and it's like not. You got to understand the government. They work at literal snail pace. Hence why government-run organizations are always, their websites are broken, and it takes a month for anything to happen.
You can't even do anything on their websites. We had to pay for, because we're selling the house, we had to pay for inspections. You have to get a certificate of occupancy or continued certificate of occupancy and a fire inspection in order to even sell. And you have to physically go in office to make these appointments. You can't go online and pay for it. You have to pay with a cash or a check. And I don't even have checks. Who uses checks for anything?
Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about that shit.
Ridiculous.
God, I've the last couple of months, I've had to deal with a lot of people and or organizations and or partners that only take like old ass money order stuff or checks. And I'm like, look, dude, I get it. I get that you're 68 or 75. I get it. I get that you're old and you don't trust the system, but I'm gonna need you to get with the times because I can't go drive to my bank every time I need to wire somebody money or go to like a store or the cool thing is I've worked with a lot of partners that I can just Venmo and they're like actual companies, like real companies.
Yes.
And I can just Venmo them. And I'm like, this is so much easier.
It's so much easier writing. And also it's funny because I've had people mention, using checks is better because it's safer, blah, blah. That's absolutely not true. The machines that run checks are like, you have your entire bank and routing info on the check. If that shit gets intercepted, if someone gets that, they have all your bank info. It's also just as easy at the grocery store to hack the machines that they run the checks through, and they can get all your bank info. And guess what? They can drain your bank accounts. And it's way worse than if you just use a credit card that then is insured. You can be like, hey, this was stolen, and you don't get charged for any of those charges. Yeah, and checks are also ridiculously easy to fraud. Like their checks are not safe at all.
Yeah, I agree. So Alan Reese, I saw something about that, Alan. This is kind of unrelated, but kind of related. It says Aaron Imholt. Hold on. It's reported that he allegedly physically assaulted or abused April, and with his ego, I could believe that. Now, look, I'm not going to throw an allegation around at all, and because I don't know anything, and I'm just like shooting from the hip at roughly reading a human being. I don't know why, but the Aaron guy, there's something slimy about him. Like, I don't know what look, he probably would admit this. It's the way he talks and the way he carries himself. Kind of seems like he'd be the guy to slap a little girl. I don't know why, but he kind of looks like he would just like slap a little girl because he couldn't really do that to any other human that with size. So he'd look like he'd probably get off on doing that. But I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm not saying that he would or did. I'm just saying, I don't know. Seems like he might slap a bitch. I don't know. You know, I'm just that's all I'm saying. He might slap a bitch. All right.
What has been the impact on you personally? And I assume that
it's crazy to me. Just this is kind of unrelated, but it's crazy to me how Ralph has all this set up, and he's got Nick on. He's got big, a big guest on that has all this fucking controversy, and he's running a freaking 56K dial-up from 1996 to do this show.
Yeah, this is like terrible quality.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's the biggest impact because whatever people think on the internet. I mean, my kids are the fucking most important part of my life. They're what drives literally every day. They're who I drive literally every day, and not having them around it's devastating. It's a piece of you that's pulled away, and that's it's something I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I think you may remember, like back when we were sent you a message and just said, hey man, all the internet bullshit aside, family's family, and I hope things work out where everybody's safe. So I know you know all about it, but like when your kids get the when correct. I mean, I'm asking you, but like,
is this called the kill stream because they need to kill the stream because it's so terrible?
I can barely follow what's happening.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. Hold on. So, is anybody in the chat? Is this how the stream actually like was? Like, is this actually like the stream? It just like skips every 2 seconds and then it stops, or
it's infuriating to watch.
Yeah, or is it just the one I have on? It was wow. Oh, that's fucking brutal. All right, let's keep going. Let's get.
Yeah, no, I mean you're asking, but like it is. Like I said, it's my kids are a piece of me, in a very real way. Like when I see them, I tell them like everything's different. Different kids have I have different interactions with each one, and you feel it. My oldest daughter, like she's hilarious. She's very sarcastic and snarky like I am, and so like it's weird not like walking into a room and having her remind me that my nose got there 10 minutes earlier. Like it sounds silly, but it's those little fucking things and those are gone. That's the spice, man, and it's not there. It's empty.
And so we'll talk about a lot of things, but like I feel like, first off, let me ask you this. A lot of people have said that
actually screened out by Child Protective Services. They're not part of any current allegations against us. None of them were ever to do with the with the search warrant that was executed on my house. That's the sole basis. There are no allegations of neglect or abuse or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, everybody, unfortunately, the way these things work,
may not understand.
I love how it's like it just stops and then
it comes back in mid conversation. I have absolutely no idea what they're talking about right now.
It's so funny.
Wow.
Oh God. All right, let's try to continue. Yeah, I don't know. It could be just maybe it's the quality, but yeah, Ralph seems to be a little ball trippy.
Yeah, he definitely seemed like possibly on the spectrum type of situation, but like high up there.
Yeah. Speaking of being high on the spectrum,
oh
welcome.
shit!
Hi guys.
What's up?
What's
Look
up?
at seeing you in like nice quality is so much better than what I'm trying to watch here.
It's
Oh,
just like
man.
old times.
Yeah, Ralph's internet was a disaster.
Yeah, dude. God.
And whoo boy, people are giving him hell about it, and they're like, of course, accusing him of everything. And I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, I have no idea. I just know that it was fucking hard to communicate because yeah, like you said, every 2 seconds the fucking stream would stutter, and that was in like on our end too. So it wasn't just what was being broadcast out. It was like the communication between him and I took like at the start, there's like a 5 to 10 second lag between exchanges. Later in the show, it picks up and cleaned up a bit, but man, it was fucked.
Yeah. And then I saw Colonel Kurtz was going after him pretty hard, and there was a Twitter exchange, and I'm like, oh Jesus, oh God.
I don't know. Like I said, people were like really getting after Ralph. I'm like, I mean, what do you guys care?
Well, at least it's not. At least it's not you. At least it's Ralph. Did Ralph?
Yeah, when he says he wasn't on anything, I don't care. Like, I don't care if he was or wasn't. I don't have any reason to believe or disbelieve him. It literally doesn't matter to me if he was. But some people get really invested in this stuff, and it's like, well, what do you care if he is?
Well, you know how it is. I mean, you know better than anybody else right now that anything. Because so there was this that like discovery thing. Maybe I think it was what I was reading, and there's just a random thing from 2009, it's like a CPS case, and all these people speculating that like you did some shit, and I'm like, and I read your response where it's just like a change in like foster status or something. That's all.
No, it's even less than that. So the files from 2009, but we weren't even involved in 2009. Our involvement was in let's see, it would have been trying to think. Oh, late 2010, mid to late 2010 through 2011 or the beginning of 2011, because we were foster parents for these boys, 2 boys out here. And then Lady Rackets and I were going to, so those 2 boys got respite care from, we were caring for them, but they got respite care because we were going to Canada with my family. And the morning we were supposed to get on a plane, Lady Raggett started bleeding. She was pregnant with our 2nd kid. And so we had to go to the fucking hospital, and the hospital said, you know, you're okay. Everything's going to be fine, but you need to be on bed rest. No heavy lifting, really no lifting, and take it as easy as possible. So then we had to contact the county and be like, sorry, we can't keep fostering these kids, because I was still working at the time. It was before I went to law school and everything. And it's like, I can't be around these for all day for the kids. And Lady Raggets can't like pick them up because she's pregnant and she's bleeding. So she has to take it easy. So we had these 2 boys. It was like, one was 2 or 3 and the other was like 4 or 5, I think. And so we had to let them go to the family that was providing respite. They took over. And then I think those kids went back to their mom a little while later, but we kind of lost track of them after that because, you know, you don't really track them. I don't know, unless you're weird. Yeah. I mean,
unless you're weird.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Some people who have really long-term placements with kids, they'll like, you know, be involved in those kids' lives for a long time. If it's multiple years, we had them for a couple months. And it was really nice. We thought we might have a long-term placement, but ended up having the scare with the pregnancy. And then we never fostered after that. But yeah, so that would have been near the end of the file because my son was born in 2011. And it's like people made this big deal. It's like, no. Like that's not our file. The ones that are our files say Rekieta in the case name. And in that one, they redacted the case name because it's not us, guys. Like, but yeah, they speculate on everything. But the thing is, I don't think Ralph has any particular conditions that he has to meet for anything. I know people are very concerned about me because I have conditions to meet. And it's like, well, I'm meeting those.
Right. And so when it comes to, you know, how things are going now, I noticed this, and forgive me if this is kind of gay, but I watched your show with, I think it was with Ty Beard recently. And I made the comment, I don't remember who I was talking to, somebody through text or something. And I was like, Nick looks really, really good tonight.
Hey, thanks, man.
And I was like, this is great. I'm enjoying this. It might have been Art. I don't fucking remember. And I was like, yeah, he's looking great. And I think a lot of people have noticed, like, you look good.
Well, there was this thing, and people, I don't know, they thought I was lying. It's like, well, you can't convince people you weren't, but I was sick for 20 fucking days. Two shots in a row of 10-day sicknesses, and I dropped down to 148 pounds, man. Like,
Jesus.
I was tiny, and I fucking hated it. Because this is where this is the weight I wanted to be before I hit the gym, was 165, which is where I am now. It's where I got to right before getting sick. And then I got sick for 10 days, started to put the weight back on, got sick 10 days again. And it was like, that was fucking devastating because neither time I couldn't eat at all. Like for 10 straight days. The second time, even a liquid diet was literally painful. I had fucking pain as I swallowed even soup. So
Ew.
It was good times, but people are like, you look terrible. I'm like, I know. Thanks. I wake up every morning and see it. Don't worry.
You weighed less than Zia's tits.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I weighed them the other day. They are in fact 148 pounds. I have a lot of back.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. Thank
well
you.
done.
That's what I was going for.
And one of the things that's been pretty interesting to watch is, and you can look at any chat and see it immediately. What do you say to people? Or you don't say shit, actually. I wouldn't say shit either. But like, what do you like? How do you react in like your mind when people are just fucking throwing like child abuse allegations like at you?
I mean, part of it's frustrating because a lot of it is from a lack of information. So when in the search warrant, like one of the CPS calls was mentioned. Now these calls happen when somebody decides they don't like something. And so they call in, but CPS ignored those calls for us. Now I've been fucking swatted. I've had CPS call, a couple CPS calls. It turns out they don't tell you. You have these couple CPS calls go through and, they decided that they weren't worth looking into. But then when they get incorporated into a search warrant, even though they were completely ignored by CPS, but for some reason that's not explained, they decided that this is the basis for a search warrant or part of the basis for a search warrant. People then go, oh, this must be a true thing. And it's like, well, no, that doesn't make it true at all. And I haven't really been able to talk about any of that because, the determinations by CPS are part of the case. So until those come out, and, probably when the case is done, I got to kind of just keep quiet about it. But I can't really be mad about people thinking that way either because, well, what the fuck are they supposed to do? They don't have the information. So I just sit there and I have to deal with it. Or like there's a bunch of people like, you gave your child cocaine. It's like, really? Is that like, you really think that's what's going on? Okay. I guess if that's what you need to think, but that's not even alleged. That's not even alleged by Child Protective Services or the state in my case. So people come to these conclusions rather than going, man, this looks really odd. These test results seem strange. And me going, yeah, they're pretty fucking weird, aren't they? They're like, no, they must be 100% accurate and they must mean this other thing. And you're like, I can't really talk about any of this, which kind of fucking sucks. Cause that's the way these cases go. You don't want to say anything at all because if you say something, they'll try and use it against you in some weird way. And it's like, well, I don't know. I know what didn't happen. I know for a fact what didn't happen. So I kind of know that like a lot of the narrative out there around some of these things is just completely, it's fiction, but again, people have only the information that they get. So you just have to kind of suck it up and deal with it while the government's like staring you down the barrel of the fucking Liberty gun. And you have to just wait and let people have their opinions. It sucks, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah. And I was talking to somebody about this and, well, it was probably just somebody in my chat because, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, why? Like, cause a lot of things are starting to line up and I'm like, why would a local government do this? And then somebody in the chat with one statement made a lot of sense. They were like, to get the W, bro. And I'm like, oh, wow. That's that stupid chat makes so much sense just to get the W, bro. And I'm like that. And then you think back to all the times where you've watched documentaries on people and somehow the state or the local government would have so much shit. And then they had to work for years to get their name cleared. And it turns out like that, and I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just saying that it turns out that the state had fabricated all this shit just to destroy this random person. And it's like, wow, it's fucked up, man.
Look, if people are really confused about a lot of the shit in the case, and like they're like, holy shit, this is a surprise. You're not alone. They're being a surprise on some of this really outrageous shit. But you know, like the process of going after that stuff and going after that, first of all, the process of getting that information is a whole fucking story. And then the process of going after and trying to correct what has to be erroneous is like, you can't just be like, nuh-uh. Some people are like, well, why don't you just bring clean drug tests to the government and get your kids back? It's like, oh, you think I don't have a fucking litany of clean drug tests to give into the government? They just don't give you your kids back. It doesn't work that way. It'd be amazing if it did, but there's a lot of people that could get clean drug tests and just hand them over, but they wouldn't be clean. Luckily for me, I'm clean. That was easy as fuck. So it's like having the clean drug tests is great, but you can't just give them to the government and have them say, oh, sorry. They don't do that. They come up with a story, just like everybody in the chat has a story, and they have to fill in the pieces. And your story is not the one that they've come up with. I promise you, no matter who you are in the world, when the government comes up with a story about you, whatever they come up with is not right. Even if yours might be worse, but theirs is incorrect because only you have all the details. Well, you don't just get to tell them, well, let me tell you the details and then you'll change your mind, because they've made up their mind on their story and they don't care what facts you have, because now confirmation bias is at play. That's why the court system exists. I have to wait for the court's timeline to fight against all this shit. And that's why there are rules and processes to do all of this. But, you know, the internet isn't a place to wait for answers. The internet is a place where we go, I want to know now. I want to know, because the story, right? It's salacious. It's exciting. It's fucking insane. And I'm sitting here going, God, I'm hearing the story and it sounds way more interesting than my life. And it's horrifying, but it's like, I know that's not actually the truth, but yeah, I have to tell the story somewhere else. It really fucking sucks, because I like telling stories all the time.
Yeah. What is what does the process look like to get your kids back? If you can talk about that, like, what does that actual process look like?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things that have happened. I talked about this a little bit on Ralph's show, but I don't know how well you'll be able to hear because of the connection issues. But what happened initially is called an emergency placement. So they raided my house and allegedly pulled some substance out of it that they deemed to be illegal. I'll say allegedly because we don't actually have any admissible testing yet. They do field tests on substances to find out what they might be. And then they take those and send them off to, in Minnesota, it's the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Laboratory to confirm whatever substance there is and to get official measurements. That hasn't happened yet. So right now they allegedly pulled an illegal substance out of my house. And there's a statute that says if children are present in a home with an illegal substance, then the presumption is that the children are in danger. And this merits an emergency placement. So the kids get placed with family, if possible. We have lots of close families, so the kids are with family, thank goodness. But that happened on the 23rd. What happens next is you get a child in need of protective services trial. It's like a very accelerated thing. And that's where the state has to make a case that the children are in need of ongoing protective services or not. And then you get to make your case against the state that says, like, you presumably, like, I guess some parents could decide that their kids needed it, but presumably you would say my kids don't need protective services. And then you go to court and have a trial on that with witnesses and evidence and all of that stuff. We haven't had that yet. That's coming up in the future. And in the meanwhile, you have everything else going on where you have, during the meantime, you have sort of a plan to have visits, and they call it, Minnesota has a presumptive reunification plan where they want to put your kids back with the family. And I put that in air quotes because, well, you know, child protective workers don't always want to do that, even when they say they do, and they sometimes act contrary to that. that process is weird because it happens parallel in court and out of court. So out of court, you do a whole bunch of shit. Like we drug test randomly all the time. Whenever they ask, you go in for a drug test, and all of our drug tests are clean, very, like it's not hard, and no drugs, no alcohol either. So anybody who has any suspicions about me secretly drinking, guys, I got a month of clean fucking tests ever since they started asking for them.
And that's something that's required is like clean, just test until like a hearing or something. How does that work?
It can be. Anytime there's a substance involved in Minnesota, it doesn't matter what the substance is or what the involvement is. If there is a substance, they default to abstinence as a requirement, complete abstinence of any substances. So they have that going on. And then you have scheduled visits and supervised visits, and then you work towards like a safety plan and all of this stuff. So that's your parallel planning that's going on with the government, along with your case, which is entirely separate. So you have to do this weird straddle where in your case, you have to posture as, the government has no right to my children. I have the rights to my children. They've infringed on my rights. Whereas with the case plan, you have to comply with what they want you to do if you want to see your kids. And they try to use this against people. They try to get people to make statements or to gather evidence against them in the process of complying with getting their kids back. They're like, oh, well, you just got to tell us about all your stuff. And the really kind of nefarious thing about it is kind of like how they had before they had no fault divorce, right? You had to have a reason to get divorced.
Yeah.
Well, what people would do is they just lie. They just say they were having an affair, right? When they just wanted a divorce from someone, and they'd lie to create the reason. Well, you have tons of parents who will admit to doing illegal things just to get their kids back. And then those admissions get used against them in criminal court. And basically, a lot of times it doesn't end up in prison. So they're perfectly happy to make an admission that'll then get their kids back, but then they'll get a felony charge or whatever and end up on probation. But if you're trying to actually defend yourself, it makes it very difficult because the government decides that you're one thing. And if you want to tell them no, they go, well, no, we've decided that. And until you admit to us that you are what we think, then you don't get your kids back. But you're not getting your kids back on that timetable anyways. It's kind of really fucking deceptive. It's a messy system, but it's the system that we have. And, for some people, like they really probably shouldn't be around their kids, right? Like a lot of people are very dangerous to their children. Obviously, I don't think I am. And I know the internet will have some disagreement out there, but hey, you guys don't actually see my life at all. And that's fine. Like there's a reason you don't. But I have to run this sort of parallel track where I'm defending my rights on one hand, at the same time, complying with the government as much as possible without giving them any sort of incriminating statements or admissions that they would try and use against me in the criminal case.
So you're saying, and this is how the process would loosely work, depending on who's involved. But you're saying that kids will be utilized in a way to pressure parents into admitting to stuff that may not be true, just to it's like a plea kind of deal, like get their kids back and move on.
People lie to make plea deals all the time.
Right.
People admit to crimes that they don't believe they're guilty of all the time. And I'm not saying specifically that the state has that intention, but the system is set up in such a way that those pressure levers are applied to people in that way. And that is a mess. And severing the two cases is really, really difficult because the government agency that's prosecuting you is the same government agency that's in charge of the child protective case. And in our case, it's even the same attorney on both of them. So it's like, you want us to say things over here that you would use over here. And some people would be tempted to just say it. But, you have a Fifth Amendment right for a whole lot of reasons. But the other thing is they want you to tell their story, their version of your story. They don't really care what your version is because you can tell them, you can even show them evidence, piles and piles of evidence that you are not the thing that they say you are. And yet still they'll just be like, nuh-uh.
Right.
We go, you must be this. It must be this. And so eventually you have to take them to court and they have to meet their burden of saying you are the thing that they say. But, you know, the real rub for the county is most of the people they deal with don't have the means to fight in
Right.
these cases. And when they encounter people with the means to fight, it makes things really complicated for them. And well, I mean, I guess that's just too bad.
Well, so what do you think's what would you foresee? Because I've asked so many people their personal opinion, and they're not even involved. And I've given my opinion. I've asked Drex's opinion. What would be your best case scenarios, like end all be all when this is all over? Like, what would you see happen? Like, you're just
best case scenario.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the best case scenario would be I have my kids back and I beat all the charges.
right. Yeah.
I mean, as simple as that.
Right.
That's and it's not an outlandish possibility, really. The government has a tough case to make. I can't talk about why.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but I can't talk about why. But it's not an open and shut case. In a lot of instances that could be there's a familiarity to the fact pattern for a lot of people, but there's some complications that, again, those things have to be brought up in a very specific manner. I can't talk about them here, but I'm sure you'll all get to read about them when the documents hit. So that's that. I don't know if that's going to happen. Like, I'm not trying to get my hopes up or anybody else's, but that would be the best case scenario.
Right. Oh, and I have a fun question.
Yeah,
because you just said it. You said it was easy as hell to get clean.
Yeah, to be clean is easy as hell.
Well, good. There you go.
Like,
I saw somebody in chat and they're like, "How dare you say it's easy to be clean?" Like,
oh my God. Guys, do you know how easy it is to not like drink or do drugs? It's really easy. You're all doing it right now. Like,
I don't know about that.
A huge portion of the chat, you guys are not drinking or doing drugs. It's really easy.
There's somebody that's wasting the chat right now.
Yeah, there's definitely someone that's either on drugs or drinking. I don't know. For me, it
I know-
wasn't easy
No, I know.
to get sober.
That's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah.
But it is easy to not do drugs now, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, after the worst hangover of my damn life 2 days ago, I'm like, yeah, it's really easy to not drink right now. I almost died, man. July 4th was wild.
But no, up until the government asked me to, I was able to drink, right? Like, we paid our bonds, so we had no conditions on the criminal case. And then the family case, they said, no drugs or alcohol. And it was like, up until then I could drink. And it was like, well, I mean, I guess that sucks. But then all you do, I mean, for us, all we did was we just took all the liquor and got it out of our house. Like, so I don't have any alcohol around. So then you just don't drink because you have to not drink. Like, that's just, I don't actually.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like,
yeah, I mean,
thinking, my question was going to be, because, and I don't drink super often, but like every now and then I'll like pull out some cards to play some rummy or some spades at my table. And I got some Steely Dan playing and I'm like, man, I really want to like drink some beer or some claw right now. Like, do you ever have those moments where you're just like, man, I'd love to fucking just sip?
Dude, we've been having fires outside, like a little bonfire, and you're just sitting there by the fire looking at the sunset. And it's like, man, it would be cool to have a glass of bourbon, right? Like, it'd be nice. People get you say you don't drink that much. People get a distorted view because they're watching the show and you drink on the show.
Yeah.
From time to time. And just like me, people are like, well, he drinks all the time on his show. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not drinking the rest of the day. Like, the rest of the day isn't full of alcohol. And so then people are like, he's probably wasted 24/7. It's like, no, literally just on the show. But like,
it's funny because you're right. People will do that with the snack stream is a good example. People are like, how do you eat like this and you're not fat? And I'm like, I don't eat like this all the time. This is one stream a week. And I have one bite of each thing. I'm not sitting there shoving fucking Twinkies in my face 24/7.
I would.
But it's it's wild. So of course it'd be nice. Like, the thing that made me mad was like, there are places around here that do like stupid Bloody Marys with like a fucking hamburger. Like, there's one that does a quarter smoked chicken or rotisserie chicken on the straw. So you got like a rotisserie chicken and then like a big fucking roll on there. And it's like, well, I really kind of want one of those. And I went in, I was like, do you do virgin Bloody Mary? they're like, no.
Damn.
No.
Oh,
Why not? Like, please, like, just put tomato juice in ice and put a hamburger on top. Like, that's what I want. Can I try that? I'll still pay your $15. But no, they don't do it. It's just like, oh God, see that sucks, because that would be fun to do. But other than that, like I said, when the state said no drinking, it was like, well, shoot, but okay. Like, who cares?
It's a good motivation, a good motivator. It's the state.
Yeah.
know.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
when I say who cares, like, well, who cares is just liquor, right? But the frustrating part of it is that, like, alcohol isn't part of any of the concerns that anyone has in our case. And so actually the list of concerns that they have is exceedingly small. But you know, again, all of that has to wait. But alcohol isn't a concern. It's not like they decided no alcohol for some reason. So then you're just sitting there like, so this is for nothing? Like, that's really annoying. And they do that a lot. I mean, even before weed was legalized in Minnesota, if you got caught with a small amount of weed and you had a criminal charge for it, during your probation, no alcohol. So people couldn't, like, even come home from work and have a beer or whatever. And it really fucking frustrates a lot of people, because that's how a lot of people relax after work.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's just hit some of these super chats. Feel free to answer a question or not if they ask you. I haven't read them, but
Sure.
Sleepless in Minnesota. Enjoy having the new old Rekieta back. Sure, Mr. Wit and Clarity.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you, Sleepless in Minnesota. I appreciate it. Be Quick says, man, I don't get the Rekieta hate. Y'all acting like he gave his kid Coke or something. Oh shit! Wait, bad joke.
It's again, people who think that an 8-year-old was sitting there railing lines of Coke you're insane. Like, the amount of, first of all, if they thought that was happening, I wouldn't be able to be on the show. That we'd be talking about way different charges going on here. Like, that those would be leveled. Those aren't even allegations by the government. The government doesn't even say that. Second of all, there probably would have been a funeral. Children doing drugs is not like adults doing drugs. And those test results are fucking terrifying. So I know that, like, for some people it's a funny joke. For me, it's not that funny, because it's like, when we heard this result, we were fucking dumbstruck. We're baffled. We're like, and I flat out said, I said, that's a fucking impossible result. That's an impossible result. And at some point, I'll get to tell you guys how the state reacted to that statement, and the things that we demanded the state do, and the state's response to those things should actually make people really fucking angry with the state. But that's not a thing that, like, goes on. And when you put children, our children were out in the community with various teachers and various instructors and music instructors, class teachers, various church events. No one had any reported behavior of our children acting erratically or in any concerning way that would imply that at all. And our kids are all fucking literally picture perfect health. They're all above average height and weight. They're all of their levels are healthy. The state is having trouble reconciling this test with the reality before them. Right. And that's part of the issue. But again, none of that part of the story gets told, especially when documents that really shouldn't be leaked due to laws in Minnesota get leaked. That's something where only part of the story comes out, and then people are basing it off of that. But anybody who thinks that there's an 8-year-old just sitting around huffing down lines of cocaine with no adverse effects, with no reports of concerning behavior, with no reports of withdrawal symptoms or anything like that, I'm sorry, your worldview is skewed. But if that had been an accusation of the government, we would be under very, very different. I'd be broadcasting from fucking shackles, guys. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah,
and it never did.
That's kind of what I was thinking after because the first day when I read it, everybody was speculating, including me. And was there ever like a thought, like when you saw the result, was there ever a thought, just like a a stem thought somewhere where you're like, holy shit, somebody may have tried to do something and I didn't know about it.
Oh, is there a possibility that someone else came into contact with my child with drugs? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. That's certainly a possibility. And it can happen in nefarious or non-nefarious ways. But yes, that's absolutely possible. But what I know is that my child wasn't doing drugs. I know that because there's no behavioral signs. There's nothing like that. There's no adverse health effects. None of that is going on at all. And it's why when the test result came back, we said, this is fucking impossible. Like, literally, this is not a possible result. Something's wrong. We don't know if there's an issue with the lab. We don't know if there is some sort of external contamination by someone else. We have no fucking idea. But we know what wasn't happening. And yeah, is there a worry that someone else may have done something either nefariously or something like that? Yeah, absolutely. Of course. We want to know too. It's just the question is, we don't know how to find out. And we're on a timeline where we haven't had the opportunity to even investigate it.
Yeah, that's kind of what that's immediately where my mind went. Obviously, knowing you as a real person, like, unlike a lot of people I know you in real life. So my mind immediately went there. It was, that was my obvious thought. And then I was speculating and with the chat and, you know how shows are. And then I think the quartering called me a bad friend. And I'm like, what? Because it was probably some clip of 30-second clip out of context. I'm like, oh, it's you bastard. So that gets me. Alman John says, I miss the simpler times where I'd get off work at a third shift, catch the end of the next stream, then go over to Twitch watch party and watch an 80s movie like UHF or Savage Streets. Thank you.
Dude, fucking Twitch getting rid of the watch parties is criminal. They should go to prison. Not me. Free Nick Rekieta, put Twitch in prison.
It's the worst things Twitch has done. Absolutely not the other stuff. Nothing else.
Yeah. The worst part is watch parties.
Yeah.
Yes. We're taking a stand on that. God damn it.
Charles S says, where's our manners? We should welcome the Minnesota prosecutor's office to the chat. Y'all make yourselves at home. Feel free. Thank you. Appreciate that, Charles. Love you. Billy Hatcher says, I called it. Knew Nick was knew it was Nick. Also, that was hard to watch. Yeah, it's it's just so hard to the stream is just skipping so much. And I'm like, oh, Nick's here. I'll just talk to Nick. This is easier. this is much easier.
Like I said, it picks up later and the connection gets a lot better, but the beginning was really rough. I did draw a picture while Ralph was trying to fix everything. Want to see it real quick?
Yeah.
I drew this I was just sitting there like I'm gonna sketch this out while Ralph is taking his time trying to get the stream to work. So
you're such a good artist.
Thanks. I have this very nice drawing tablet. That's what I use it for.
For like just the worst memes possible. WAF says not confirmation bias, rule of primacy, control the narrative, get in front of it, easier to fool someone than convince them they've been fooled, yada yada. PS, love you, Goober. Thank you, WAF.
Yeah, that's a good point. That could be it too. But I really do think, like I could talk a lot of shit about, and I have plenty of times talked a lot of shit about the government and CPS and the way police operate, but a lot of them genuinely believe they're doing the right thing. They don't know anything other than what's in front of them. They don't. So they go through these things and they get X piece of information, Y piece of information, Z piece of information, and your brain forms opinions about people very, very fast.
Yeah.
Within the first 10 seconds of meeting someone, you've made very strong opinions about them that you're not even conscious of. And so these people do the same thing. And oftentimes the picture that they're getting painted is really terrible because of their job. And that builds in a sort of natural bias towards a terrible outcome because they've seen too many kids in really bad situations that they're going to assume that these bad situations are always present. Now, again, the competing story can take a long time to come out, partly because you don't know what crazy fucking story is getting told to these people that you have to correct. And that's why the court process is so important. And it's also why, because kids are involved and parental rights are involved, they allow this sort of parallel track quasi criminal system where you're working with the government to get your kids back while you're also fighting the government saying they should never have been taken in the first place.
Right. Sleepless in Minnesota said, why was there a mention in earlier release papers that stated you complied with the drug testing by taking the test, but refused to sign the release of that information for them?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because we never were required to take drug tests until we were ordered to take drug tests. And there was a drug test that was taken, let me get rid of the passive voice. I took a drug test voluntarily prior to being ordered to take a drug test, and I did not have the results of that drug test. I didn't know what the results would be. I had no fucking idea. I've never had a drug test done in my life. Other than I think I had a urinalysis test done back in 2006 or something, but this is a hair follicle test. I don't know what it would show. Look, I go to a lot of clubs. I've been to a lot of crazy fucking parties. I have no idea what's going to pop up on this test. So I decided, you know what? I don't want the government to have access to this test that I'm doing for my purposes. I was never ordered to take that test, and the government didn't have any right to that test. But what I did was revoked their consent to get it because I had to consent to other medical records being released to them. So I just said, you guys don't get this test. You guys don't get that. And they tried, actually, it was fun because the government went on the stand and lied and said that I revoked access to future tests, which is weird because I submitted tests that happened after that test to them. I gave it to them right there. And to say that I revoked anything other than that test is silly because the language was explicit. The government had no right to that test. And again, when I revoked access to that test, the government had never asked me to drug test at that point, and they had no right to have the results. So here's my advice to all of you guys. Never give the government access to a test that they don't have a court order or right to. If they want it bad enough, they'll get a court order or a warrant. And if that's valid, they can have that. But until they do, don't give it to them. So yeah, but then the consequence of that is that the government will go and say that you're somehow not complying with something that they didn't ask you to do. And you're like, well, what do? Camelot, do you testify then? Because they want you to testify.
Yeah,
of course, because then they want to ask you a whole bunch of other questions. And if you don't want to answer those other questions, then you have to just sit there quietly while they lie on the stand.
Right.
And that actually did 100% happen. The government worker just sat there and lied about it. I mean, the language is plain language of the fucking revocation. And they just said that there was other shit that I was revoking. It's like, nope. And they keep telling me I revoked stuff, and I keep telling them I did not.
And so how do you fight that if there's a record of you doing a thing and they openly lie about it? How do you fight that?
It's not as simple as just saying "nuh-uh" in court. You have to file motion paperwork. You have to decide if it's worth it to go after them on that. And then you have to, you basically have to make the case that the lie is made with enough intent as to cause you harm rather than just being a mistake. Government has this free pass on things called harmless error, where they can make a shitload of mistakes about you that impact your rights. But if it doesn't ultimately prejudice the outcome of your case, it's called a harmless error, even though they do substantial harm to people constantly. They'll just call it a harmless error. And it's like, well, now you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars. You've had a motion fight in court over it. And you may not get anything out of it because the judge might even say, yeah, you're right. They did that. But what harm did it do? Well, I mean, I can name some things.
You have to basically prove that they did it nefariously on purpose.
Yeah, and that they weren't just stupid.
Right.
Because that'll be the government's answer to everything, by the way. When the government does something that's wrong and takes away your rights, their answer is, sorry, we're retarded.
Well, then maybe you shouldn't be running the government. How about that?
That should be the answer.
Have these jobs.
I agree, Zia. I agree. But the answer is they go, oh, I'm sorry. We weren't mean. We were just retarded. And the courts go, you're right. You guys are just retarded. So you get off. Like, it's just fine for you guys to make that mistake. And people are sitting there having their rights stripped away, having their names run through the mud. And they're just sitting there going, what the fuck is this? Like, if I did that, I'd be in huge trouble. Because the government did it. It's, harmless error. And it's a big problem with criminal and quasi-criminal things. Anytime the government is against the citizenry and they just make a harmless error, it's like that, but it's not harmless. It's just harmless to the ultimate outcome of the case. But long story short, shit like that, you know, you find the right time and you fight it through motion paperwork. But in the meanwhile, you have to kind of deal with it. Now, most people aren't having their case broadcast to the world, and most child custody cases are sealed up so that, you know, people aren't able to get these documents in little pieces of very convenient leaks. They're not able to get them. Right. So most people don't have to deal with, you know, sort of the reputational injury that the government's doing. But hey, again, do I care more about my reputation or getting my kids back? I care about getting my kids back. So the fight has to be fought in the right place. But I mean, they do this shit. And all I'm doing is sitting there going, I'm a lawyer who speaks English, and they do this shit to me. Imagine if you're like a non-English speaker, or English as a second language person who's not a lawyer. You wouldn't even know this shit was happening to you half the time. You just think that this is the system, and it's fucking horrifying.
Mega Mobass says, Nick, I've been a long-time follower, a long-time supporter. I want to believe you being sober is a big step, but I would never forgive you if the state's allegations are true. I don't want to believe it. Thank you, Mega Mobass.
Yeah, man. I wouldn't forgive me if the state's allegations are true either. But the funny thing is, people are conflating their own allegations with the state allegations. Again, with the, like with my 9-year-old, for example, the state hasn't alleged that we gave cocaine to a 9-year-old. They haven't done that. People have alleged that online because they're trying to figure out this result, which seems aberrant and impossible. Well, guys, it seems aberrant and impossible to us too. Again, but the state hasn't even come to that conclusion. That's purely an internet thing. So, God, you'd have to watch someone else to really like start breaking down the sort of issues with that result, I guess is the best way to say it. I'm trying to word this politically in my brain as we go, but with that result, a great person to watch is Robert Barnes talk about these results and why they're very problematic in general. I'm not really able to talk about it, but Barnes did a really good rant about it. And, you know, there's some stuff in there that people should pay attention to, because believe it or not, you may not think this can happen to you, but it can.
Right. Old Nerdy says, thank you for the pink boy, by the way. Says, you might not want to answer this, but why is Aaron able to talk about anything he wants that he's closely involved with? In fact, why wasn't he charged with anything? He seems like he was involved in everything. Thank you, Old Nerdy. I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to this. If there is a specific answer to it, at some point I will find out, of course, because those types of agreements are not concealable by the state if they exist. I'm not aware of any of those agreements existing. I think he's able to talk just because you're always able to talk. Just so everybody knows, you're always able to talk about whatever you want. It's just not always wise. As for the contents of what he is saying, I will say what I have said every single time, and I'll stick with it. He gets to say whatever he wants to say. He's his own man, and I hope he makes $1 million.
Thank you, Old Nerdy. I appreciate you. Yeah, I bet, you know, I would try. I tried to follow whatever I can't. It's just, I don't know, man. I told Chrissy Mayer this, and he was in the chat when I said it. And I was like, I just get a weird vibe from this dude, man. He's kind of gross. Something about him's gross. I don't know. I don't think. And he was in the chat, and he's like, "Yeah, I get that." And I'm like, "Well, at least I guess you get it." But he ain't afraid of talking about nothing. He's talking about everything, or you know, attempting to. Sean says, "Thanks for being on, Nick." Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
Nick says that was a bad joke on my part. Sorry, Nick. Thank
you.
No.
No. It's fine, brother. It's fine. It's please don't worry about it.
Thank you. Be quick. Conservative Mama says, praying for the family. Thank you, Conservative Mama, for your $10 chat. Thank you. Nick Naylor says, I know I give you a lot of shit, but I never believed any of the child allegations. Nick Naylor says,
thanks, man. Appreciate that a lot.
Appreciate you. Kate of the Swiss for the $5. Appreciate you, dude. Love you. Seize the day with $2 Canadian says, no, this is our business. Nice to see you, Nick. Thank you. Seize the day. Appreciate you. Another pink boy from My Spirit to Yours says some states require all CPS and social workers to be licensed unless they work for the county. Minnesota is one of them. So CPS workers risk losing license for misinterpretation unless they work for the county. Citizens would find this unsettling, in my opinion. Thank you, My Spirit to Yours. Can you explain what that means, Nick?
Well, I'm not 100% sure about licensure requirements in the state of Minnesota for CPS workers because I don't do child protective cases. I never really did. It's a soul crushing to do them, and I don't like it. The child protection I have done was literally protecting children privately from abusive fathers, mostly abusive mothers on occasion, but with restraining orders and things like that. But that being said, yes and no. I mean, government workers risk losing licensure and stuff all the time for their bad actions, but the risk of losing licensure it's not that simple. When a government grants a license to someone and then tries to take it away, because it's the government, they're now trying to remove a privilege or even a right in some cases, because you have a right to that licensure so long as you meet the requirements and haven't forfeit that right, just like everything else, right? So taking that right away from someone involves notice in a hearing, an opportunity to be heard on your side of the story. It's an infringement. And oftentimes the government has no interest in pursuing those infringements when their government workers engage in those misrepresentations, because those misrepresentations benefit the state very often. And again, remember who they're usually infringing against is usually someone without the means to really fight back. The overwhelming majority of CPS cases involve very low income people. And there's a reason that they do. It's because they don't have any way to get out of the system. They're often dependent on services already. There are social workers involved in their lives at the onset. And those people are also generally at higher risk for crime and other dangerous situations. So, they get a free pass on a lot of this shit, licensed or not. But yeah, anything really though, any CPS workers without a licensure requirement is kind of problematic. My thing is, I want to know how many of the CPS workers actually have kids, because there's a lot of people without children who will tell you how you should be raising children from a government. It's like, have you even tried?
Right.
But that's always fun.
Super Saiyan 4 Broly says, can't afford much. Y'all need to know that you're cared for. I hope everyone comes out on this unscathed and the kids are back home soon. Much love, brother. Also, you got a stream schedule yet?
I'm working on the schedule right now. It's with us having, people are like, oh, you should have a lot of time now. It's like, well, no, because now I have different hoops to jump through for the government. Those all happen during business hours. And then of course, our visits with our kids take priority over everything. So doing those things during the week has made it hard to make a predictable schedule, because they don't like say, okay, well, you're going to see your kids this day, this day, this day, this day. They open up a fucking calendar and you have to grab the times that are available. So until that evens out, it's still going to be erratic. Sorry, I don't want it to be, but that's just how it is for now. But I am working on that. And again, it's going to be a shift into the daytime. My show will be much, much earlier in the day.
So there's an actual schedule where you can see your kids. So
it's not a schedule. We have to, there's a place and you have to like sign up for times, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Well, at least there's that. I was under the impression that you just didn't see him, and I'm like, well, that sucks. Deborah Breeden says, my son had a false positive on a defective test. Thank you, Deborah Breeden.
They happen.
Fucking Hawk to a girl. Charles says, how about I change the subject? Will Nick share his thoughts about the Hawk to a girl?
Yeah. Why is are people mad at this girl? Or are they just
I don't understand how this meme has lived as long as it has. It was entertaining for a minute, and then that was it. You watch it and you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And then I don't really understand why it's still around.
Zia, she has like 500,000 followers on Instagram already.
Oh, I know. She quit her job, but
I also don't understand. I don't understand why she is getting hate, because I don't know if it's because she blew up so
Why?
fast.
Wait,
but
people are
just starting-
giving her hate. I thought
Yeah,
the
dude,
general
there's people on
consensus was
Twitter-
just that it was funny.
They want her dead on Twitter. Like after like a month, they're like, yeah, I want her dead. And I'm like, what? She's fine.
Why?
Also, she likes to spin on the shaft, and I'm totally cool with that. What
Yeah, I
is-
don't know why anybody would be mad at this person.
Yeah, what the hell? It doesn't make sense.
Okay, I didn't realize people were mad at her. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
It's to me, it was just a funny thing, and I watched, and I was like, ha ha ha, and then I moved on with my day. I had like zero negative feelings about her, or just zero feelings after that.
You know what?
To be honest.
You know what it is, Zio? It's
Mhm.
the fact that she had a funny clip. Hawk 2 spin on the thing. And then
Yeah.
she started doing podcasts and you like listen to her. I've watched like a 2-minute clip of her on a podcast on
Yeah.
and she's kind of basic and uninteresting. And I think people expected more, and that's why they're like being lame now. They're like, oh, she's normal. She's just a basic white chick that said a thing.
Yeah. So, but who cares? Like,
Yeah,
basic white chicks say things all the time. I do it left, right, and center. Who gives a shit?
Mega Mo Bass says this is the version of Nick I love and miss, the sober and clear thinking version. And I that's one thing regardless of if Nick likes it or not, I love seeing it, and I'm so damn thankful that you're just doing good. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If people want me to say like I drank way too much on shows, yeah, I know. And the frustrating part is that again, going back to that confirmation bias, when people will come up with a story about why something is, and then they see signs that match up with that story and they go, oh, okay, this is the reason. But it's like, there might be other reasons. There might be other things going on in someone's life that can have similar impact and similar results. And in my case, it's very much true. A lot of people have theories and stories as to what was going on that caused X, Y, or Z. And it's like, well, you're not right. I'm sorry. Like, and you don't get to know why you're not right, but there are other things going on causing those. And I tried to be more and more open in the past couple months with when people would ask how you're doing. I'm like, well, physically I'm doing okay, but like mentally I'm really not. I'm not doing well. I was having lots of mental problems, lots of stress and anxiety, and dealing with, I don't want to call it depression because depression is a specific condition, but dealing with similar sort of symptoms that come about from depression. And again, I'll attribute it mostly to stress and anxiety. And it's like, those look like a lot of other things too. And again, I'm not faulting people for coming up with their own theories, but you're sitting there dealing with like really tough shit in your life, and things can be collapsing around you. And really, you don't want to go online and talk about all of them. So people are like, see, he's doing heroin. It's like, oh my God. Like, okay. But no, that I was trying to be a little bit more forward and honest about that. And people didn't, I mean, some people were okay with those responses and some people weren't. But like, one of the ways that I was certainly compensating for that stress and anxiety was drinking to excess way too often. I'm not like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I only had one. No, guys, I was drinking all the fucking time. And in a weird way, like I'm not happy with having the conditions, but one of the nice things has been just sort of clearing that out. But a lot of the fucking stress and anxiety that was going on had its natural fall off cycle too. And a lot of the timing kind of coincides. It's not all gone either. Like there's still a bunch of shit. My life is not just this nice, long bus ride. Sometimes it's very short bus ride, but it's not a nice long bus ride down a straight road. It's life is really fucking complicated and difficult. I think everybody in this panel can identify times where things have not been so fucking easy. And, for me, a big compensation for that was drinking. And because it was nice to kind of let go a little bit and chill and just talk online, but it got way too bad. And I'm here to admit that all day, right? Like I'm sitting here going, holy shit. Like I was drinking a lot on stream. Now I might not have been drinking much off stream, but that doesn't make it less dangerous and less damaging. And so, yeah, man, I'm happy to be clear on that. And I don't know what kind of time frame or sort of window there will be on if I ever even reintroduce alcohol to the show. I'm not sure. I haven't decided, but it's been really nice being clear of that and not using it as a crutch to get through things. So thanks for noticing. And yeah, it's, that's a big part of it. for me is just kind of getting that shit cleared up. And but also having a lot of the stressors in my life. I mean, one of the big stressors in my life was the end of the school year. Like getting through the end of the school year was a fucking nightmare, because our kids are in activities all over, and everybody has something going on every week during the last like month and a half of school. There's just something, even for homeschool kids. Kids had something going on all the time. And I know people think like it's really cute to assume like there's a bunch of neglect or whatever, but we made it to every activity that our kids did, all of them, all the dance recitals, all the choir concerts, all the band concerts, all the performances, everything that they did. We were there because we're extremely involved in our kids' lives. And we were really, really looking towards the light at the end of the tunnel at the end of the school year, so we could just have a fucking break for a minute and breathe. And, you know, unfortunately this happened right around that time, but that schedule has cleared out a lot. And that's given me a lot of, or ease the pressure. It's like a pop valve where it's like, oh God damn.
Have you started or considered getting into therapy?
Oh, I've had a therapist for a long time.
All right, good. I feel like that's, you know, when you don't have a crutch being sober, I don't have a crutch like that really. And it makes you really have to face things, and that can be incredibly difficult. In therapy, I just got back into therapy, has been kind of life-saving lately.
Yeah. And that's one thing. So when I've talked about this on the first show, second show, third show, I was hypercritical in certain aspects of it, but people are like, well, what do you want to see? And I'm like, well, I want to see everybody have a great outcome, and, you know, people be home and be safe. And they're like, wait, what do you mean you're sweeping? And I'm like, what do you want? I don't understand. Like, this isn't a drama, like beef Twitter spat thing, you know, and a lot of people can't see it from that perspective. A lot of people don't understand that me and Nick have been friends in real life for years. We've hung out. We've like, we had a freaking presidential suite together. We sang "Don't Stop Believing," you know.
Once you do that,
yeah, it's over. And I'm like, you know, you look at things a little bit differently when it's an actual, you know, friend of yours. And they're like, well, you should basically people, they don't say it, but they want the funnest outcome for them as entertainment wise. And I'm like, well, yeah, look at it. And this isn't an entertainment value thing for me. This is a real thing for me. Let me hit some of these super chats. Flurbin says, Stilly Dan, that's the gayest thing you've ever said. Thank you, Flurbin. I appreciate that. Dr. Kenneth Noisewater with a giant red boy says, you're the real deal, Holyfield. Get on it, doggone it, Nick. Real talk. What do you say about the allegations of adultery, swinging, hedonism? You led a straight and narrow lifestyle. What's your side of the whole thing?
Anybody who watched my streams over the past, 2-3 years and says you've claimed to be leading a straight and narrow lifestyle, what the fuck show were you watching? Like, legitimately, I have no idea. Claiming to lead a straight and narrow lifestyle is something that I don't know if I've ever done. Look, as for specific allegations of whatever, you'll have to wait for the story. I can't talk about any of this shit because all of this shit wraps into someone else who's been telling a story, and they get to tell it. I have to wait because court exists. And unfortunately, my story is tied into the custody of my children and potential incarceration. So as for what do I say to it? Look, the narratives out there online are much more interesting than my life has ever been, but I have never claimed to be leading a straight and narrow lifestyle. If you're talking about going to foam parties, underwear parties, singing karaoke at bars with a bunch of weirdos and stuff, like hanging out with Camelot, your life is not on the straight and narrow. And I resent that. I resent that, good sir.
Well, people in the chat are like, well, you said you're a Christian. And I'm like, every Christian I know, I don't think the only Christian I've ever met that leads like an actual narrow, actual biblical lifestyle is my cousin John. That is the only person in my entire life I've met.
I have a cousin.
And
like that.
I'm not criticizing anybody, obviously. I'm just saying that the most degenerate girls I ever met off Tinder were all the Christian girls. I'm just saying, man. You know? So
yeah, it's Well, it's weird because people say, well, Christians can't do X, Y, Z. It's like, dude, Christians do bad stuff all the time. Like the whole point of Christianity is that you have like this grace and redemption story. And some people say that, well, you should be trying to do X, Y, Z. It's like, well, maybe, I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
But you have this whole like grace and redemptive quality to it that's out there. I mean, Jesus hanging out with prostitutes and tax collectors, both of those, you know, that very scary for some people. But like,
sorry, that just made me giggle.
but it's like, you know, it's like if Christians just catered to the people who were on the straight and narrow path, then the church should be fucking pointless.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Slosher says, "Hey Nick, hope everything works out for you and your family. Before you joined Cody, said years of your YouTube can be used as evidence. I'd like to know what the intern forced to watch years of your show thinks about unbread."
God, I want to know. No, it's actually, so this is kind of an interesting question as to how much of my show can be used as evidence, because what to take this into the abstract, let's take this out of my specific case, but to prove possession in Minnesota, you have to prove either actual possession or constructive possession. Actual possession, a thing is in my hand, right? Like I possess it, probably. That's pretty damn strong evidence that right now I'm possessing this phone, right? Like,
right.
Okay. Constructive possession is a little different. Constructive possession means that someone at the time is exercising exclusive dominion or control over something. Now, you don't always have to be present or in physical contact with something to have constructive possession. So the question, though, as far as like using my old shows is, what do my old shows make more or less likely to be true about facts relating to a substance that was pulled out of a house on a search warrant on a specific date? So if you want to go back and use years of my show, you want to go back to 2019 and say, here's a clip from 2019 that says something. Go, okay, what does this clip from 2019 say that is relevant to whether or not I possess something that was in my house on May 23rd, 2024? And that's the question that has to be answered. So in theory, there could be something, right? Like you could come up with some sort of way to say that might be true. Now, let's say I'm not accused of possession of some illegal substance, but let's say I'm accused of possession of this whiskey barrel. Wait, it's mirrored. This whiskey barrel. If I'm accused of that, you can go, look, back in 2019, he had that same whiskey barrel. And so that's been there for 5 years. How's this motherfucker going to claim he doesn't have that? That's not his. It's not his ownership. It's like you can see it right there and there and there and there, and you can go through it. Illegal substances are a little different than that. So you have to show that what was there on the particular date for the possession, that there would be evidence making that thing's ownership more or less likely to be true. And that makes things a little bit more complicated as far as using shows from the past to try and show what was going on in the present. It doesn't make it impossible. Just things get more specific, because otherwise, yeah, you just bring in just hundreds and hundreds of hours of anybody who's been on video anywhere to try and prove any crime. And it's like, well, this is really cumbersome. Let's narrow this fucking field down. Right. So I hope that helps explain things. And again, I can't really talk too much about specific issues with my case, but the nature of possession and constructive possession, if you really want to research it, you can probably start to figure out and piece together some of those things on your own. Those are the terms you want to look for in Minnesota, and start your research there, and then go to the facts that are in the search warrant and the supplemental reports that are all out there, and have some fun doing some detective work. Figure out the problems with the state's case, figure out the problems with my case. It's a pretty fucking interesting exercise, actually.
Meat Puppet. If I'm understanding correctly, some internet jerks decides that I'm going to ruin this guy's life by using government jerks that's messed up. The person who started this will reap what they sow, or he sows, and have what have you. Thank you, Meat Puppet. I appreciate you.
Meat Puppets, like the band?
What?
Like the band, Meat Puppets.
Oh, well, shit, I don't know. I don't listen to garbage.
There's
a band called Meat Puppets?
Yeah, a few of Nirvana's songs are Meat Puppet covers.
Oh.
Oh, interesting. That's probably why I don't like Nirvana either. Mega Mobass says, I remember when you didn't swear on stream. I even called you out on Discord. Don't call it confirmation bias. I genuinely love you, Nick. Full homo. You even called me out when I was trash on LCW. I miss old Nick. Thank
I'm
you.
not talking when I'm okay. People kind of get things conflated. I talk fast a lot of times, especially now, and there's so much going on. And I'm really trying to make sure I can share as much as I can without oversharing. In terms of protecting myself. But I'm talking about confirmation bias. I'm largely talking about government workers, cops, investigators, in any sort of field of government where they do investigations. They get a set of facts and they've seen this fact pattern in some way that's close before. And so they construct a story and they have to start fitting in puzzle pieces that they don't have information for. Well, those puzzle pieces look a certain way and fit a certain pattern a lot of times. And when they don't fit a pattern, they start to ignore the things that are outside of the pattern. And I can't really say much more than that, but I'm largely talking about government workers. There is confirmation bias for a lot of people online too, because I'm liking this analogy. Maybe you guys can comment on it, but I'm saying when you're trying to figure out like a streamer's life, it's like trying to describe the interior of a ship when you only have to look through a porthole. Like there's a whole lot that goes on outside of our streams. And if you are trying to figure out who we are, you have what we represent and then any other interactions you may have with us. And then you're filling in the pieces based off of people you've met, subconscious connections you make to people who are similar. Like if you watch Talladega Nights and you see John C. Reilly's character and you hear him talk, you go, that's Camelot right there.
Yep.
And so everything you need to know about Camelot is actually John C. Reilly and Talladega Nights, except for the betrayal part. Cause that would be terrible. But
yeah, that and how none of that's accurate at all. Real life's terrifying, man.
Dude, I was watching that though, and I was like, God, this guy sounds like fucking Camelot. Like it's creeping me out.
Everybody says it. I sound like John C. Reilly, and I sound like the other guy that's in the Righteous Gemstones. God, what's that guy? Danny McBride.
Danny McBride.
Yeah.
Danny McBride is so nice.
I get that one all the time.
Meet him. He's a ridiculously nice person.
Nice.
Nick, it's funny that you say that because I've watched it. It's very interesting because you kind of see it, and I've been sort of on the inside of like random things, like Jim Norton, for example. I did Chip Chipperson podcast with him for a couple of years. And just the little things that you see there that people are convinced that they know about from the outside and you knowing the truth on the inside, it's actually hysterical. Like, it's just really funny. You look at it and you're like, they have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. I don't even know where they get half of the things that they say. For the longest time, people would assume that Nick and I were in Nick. That's my husband. Jim and I were in a relationship. They were like, no, it's because Jim's dating Zia. And I was like, where the hell did they? And they were like, she takes pictures in his apartment. So I was like, I had never been to his apartment. I don't understand where literally any of this came from. People do. They just make stuff up in their minds. And they're like, well, that's real. And you're like, wow.
People claim me and Zia were dating as well, like when we started our show.
Yeah, that too was another thing, which is like, where
that was my fault. I said that all the time.
God.
I was like, she calls him hockey mask. I don't know.
Wait, what does that mean?
What? Hockey?
What does hockey mask mean?
Never mind.
Oh no.
Come on. No, just go on.
What does hockey mask mean?
That she wears you like a hockey mask. Like,
I don't get it. Like my ass cheeks?
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm slow, man.
I don't just right in the crease. Just
breaking. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Says what's up, bitches. Sleepless in Minnesota says Cody and many other streamers have been concerned about your alcohol substance use. Several commented that you dismissed their concerns. Regrets, maybe unfortunate event saved your life.
Oh, I don't think this event saved my life in any sort of way. People were concerned about my alcohol and substance use, and I tried to allay those concerns as much as possible by saying, no, I have a lot of fucking problems going on in my life. They were, but dismissing them is not, I wouldn't call that entirely accurate. People express concerns, and some people, you give them as much of the story as you can based on how well you know them. I've talked with Camelot very openly about a lot of issues going on in my life. He knows a bunch more than the audience ever will. And that's fine. Like that's what friends are for. And sorry, you guys don't get access to all of that. But no, I I mean, do you have regrets? Well, I was arrested. Wasn't really fun. But I don't know that that any streamer or anybody had said anything to me that would have prevented that from happening in any particular way, because the circumstances around it are kind of, you know, they're noteworthy, we'll say. But no, I mean, guys, you can't live your life in regrets. Do I wish things would have happened differently? Sure. Do I think I was going to die otherwise? Fuck no. I mean, not even fucking close. Again, the overwhelming majority of my problems were seriously life-related mental and emotional issues. Coping with alcohol. I was never close to drinking myself to death, even if some days I kind of wish like maybe I wouldn't wake up.
Yeah, I've been right there as well. Reform Convict says, when you get your kids back, get the hell out of Minnesota. Thank you, Reform Convict. Appreciate you. Kevin Brownell says, why did Nick pay a bondsman as to pay the entire bond himself in getting it back at the deposition of his case? Disposition.
You mean as opposed to why pay a bondsman? Do you have $50,000 just sitting around that you want to give to someone and then have that gone for a while? Or do you want to pay $5,000? Like, can you part with $5,000 or $50,000? I mean, that's the question that you have.
Yeah, I'd be fucked. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. Dustlot says, haters going to look ridiculous when the truth is out. Thank you, Dustlot. I appreciate you.
I mean, I'll look ridiculous too, because that's the job that we have, is to look ridiculous. But
yeah. Ashley says, Thank you. I
Ashley,
appreciate
your beautiful face.
Johan Noxos has been hypercritical in the chat. He says,
yeah, I know he's good.
He got a brutal super chat for you. He says,
yeah,
the heat allergy is going to suck in hell.
No, yeah, man, it's going to really be bad.
God damn, Johan, Jesus.
Dude, it sucks in Minnesota. I don't want it. I mean, in hell, it's going to be but hell's cold, actually. It probably won't be bad. Like, because if you go all the way down to the bottom, read Inferno, bitch. The bottom 3 layers are all, those are all really fucking cold. So it probably won't be that bad.
Billy Hatcher says, we reached Naked Snake, and will Nick be joining? I don't think so.
No.
Well,
I can't. I can't do fight milk or anything, and I'm gonna probably bounce here pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't think yet. I would want Nick sitting there in court, and then there's just like, and here we have exhibit, and it's just like me, like,
making your titties dance.
I'm gonna pull all of the naked snakes and submit them as evidence. All of them.
321 of them in a row.
Yeah.
Thank you, James. Appreciate you, baby. Member for 44 months. Josh Engelbright says, hoping for a positive outcome, Nick. Love you, Cody. Appreciate you, Josh. Thanks for coming to all those damn races. Ashley says, make Zia monetized again. I agree. She got unmonetized because her boobies are apparently too fat.
My boobies are too big. I actually got a notification on one of my videos. It was hilarious. They're like, we put an age restriction on this. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't violate any of our rules. We just did it. Yeah. I'm not even joking. The notification said that.
That's
I was
what
like,
YouTube does.
That's amazing.
They'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. We don't even care. Like, we don't even care. Like, we're just going to demonetize you, and you can't do shit, which is how YouTube does things, to be fair.
Yep. 100% how they do things. But so far, everybody's been absolutely amazing and supportive and wonderful going through Streamlabs. And guess who doesn't get their 30% cut? Fuck you.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. So, I mean, I've watched you still streaming and still like doing the same amount. I'm like, well, thank God, because really, I'd be fucked.
I'm so thankful for everyone that has stayed to support me. Absolutely amazing. Amazing.
Halo Millennium says, hey all, hope you guys are doing well. Hope things are going better for you, Nick. Thank you, Halo Millennium. I appreciate you. Would you say, Nick, things are better than they were like a month or two ago?
I mean, as the story shapes out and stuff, I'm more optimistic. Because it's like when you start to see the case the state has against you stacking up, and you're going, what the fuck is going on with all of this stuff? I would say I'm more optimistic. Things won't be right until my kids are back.
Yeah. Like
my life is it's a constant fucking question mark. Like you don't know what to do when they're gone. So, because you wake up and it's quiet, and that's really unnerving. You go to sleep and it's quiet. You don't have to go to all these different activities or things. And I mean, frankly, like the summer, we're missing the summer, which really sucks, to be honest. But once they're back, things will be going much better. But I mean, they are better now than they were, but it's like this little incremental betterment. My attitude is much better. And that's why I'm starting to pop up on shows, why I'm starting to do more of my own shows and stuff like that, is like, I can now. Before it was really, really tough just to like get in front of a camera at all. So,
a good question I see pop up in chat is, with how much stress, like driving your kids around and like being constantly having to be at another thing, is that something you plan to mitigate in the future so it doesn't?
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be that way. I guess now that it's more out from some of the documents, our nanny left in the middle of the second half of the school year, and we had to scramble to try and fill a schedule that was made for 2 drivers, Lady Rackets and the nanny, most of the time, and occasionally 3 drivers at the same time. That was our schedule that these kids had, because again, I know we're super neglectful parents or whatever, but our kids were in just any activity that they wanted to do that we could fit in. So it involved just shitloads of driving to all different places with different kids throughout the day. And you had to have 2 or 3 drivers most days of the week. And you also had to be watching the other kids needed adult supervision. So sometimes that meant that even if you had 2 drivers going, if you have the younger 2 girls home, for example, they need to be supervised. And like, I couldn't stream for that time, but our nanny left in the middle of the school year, which was a huge blow. And having to replace her with help from friends, didn't work out as smoothly, because you go from a person that you pay to do this, who's been doing it for years, to not having that and having to kind of patchwork it in. It was extremely stressful, and you don't want to say it. I didn't want her information out there. I didn't want people looking for her in any way. She was a part of our family for a very long time. And so like having that all occur in the middle was jarring and kind of devastating for us, because it's like, how do we finish out this fucking school year? You can't just rearrange the schedule. It was made in the fall, and now it's spring, and you just have to get through the end of the school year, because your people, like, you can't reschedule piano because they have a bunch of other students. You can't reschedule violin. You can't reschedule choir, drama, band. You can't reschedule these things. So you just have to make it work. People are like, well, why don't you just whatever? It's like, dude, we live in a small town. There isn't just a bevy of nannies waiting around that you could just grab another one. Plus, we're extremely selective with who's around our kids. And so it was, that was I don't know. It was incomprehensibly stressful and frustrating, because it crippled my ability to do things like trial streams and stuff, which I had been wanting to increase starting in February. And, we got the message from her that she was leaving in the middle of February, and it was like, holy fuck, how are we going to do this? And so you just make it work because you have to. But, the people online, you don't want to, again, there are limits to how much you want to let people online into your lives, and how much that peak impacts people who have nothing to do with it, her included. And so it was like, all right, how do you do that? But yeah, that stress was fucking brutal, man. Like, and people are like, oh, it's just driving your kids. Like, no. Many of you just drive your kids. The amount and the destinations and the time living out in the country, everything is 15 to 20 minutes away. Everything for every time. So if you have a kid with a 40-minute activity, it's 15 to 20 minutes of driving, 40 minutes of activity, and then 15 to 20 minutes of driving back. So when you have kids going to multiple different places, that's how they all go. And it's
is there any because I have not researched any of this. Is there any reason why the nanny left? We've never talked about that. Like, you've never told me like what Wow, I think you had one.
It's really fuzzy. I'll say yes. Obviously, there's a reason that the nanny left, and we got one story from her, and I don't think that story was honest,
Right.
because I've seen some other information about it, and I don't want to put her on blast in any way. Like it just happened. So it was sudden and kind of devastating for us. But hey, it is what it is, and you don't really get to like object to the like I object. You have to stay. No, I mean, like someone quits their job, they quit their job. And refilling that role, I mean, it took us a long time to find this person in the first place. So
Right. Patrick O'Brien with a few more says, how is Lady Rackets holding up through all this?
she's doing pretty well. I mean, again, same thing as me. It's just, you don't have your kids, so it fucking sucks, and you don't really know what to do with your day.
Right.
But she's doing pretty well.
Thank you. Emil says, hope all is well. I appreciate you. Thank you. Old Nerdy says Zia needs to be fat shamed. I agree.
I haven't been fat shamed in so long, Nick. This is the real tragedy here. All of this going on is second fiddle to the fact that Nick has not been able to fat shame me.
Mm-hmm. And I'm blaming the government for that.
God damn it, government. Do you see what you've done?
Sorry, I'm going to fat shame you in court.
Ooh, all right.
under oath.
That is some special fat shaming. I'm going to record that and save it.
No, I'm just kidding. You are huge though.
No,
it's really
her stomach's flat. It's just her titties.
I noticed your chair got bigger.
My chair got bigger to make room for my fatter ass.
I didn't even notice that. Your chair is way bigger.
I have a giant chair now. It's really
comfy. That's not a chair anymore. Come on, that's a couch.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's a couch now.
Oh, Lieutenant Hughes says, hope my faith in you isn't misplaced. Nick, chin up.
Faith in any streamer is misplaced. Just enjoy us.
I mean, I think that's a problem that, and this is something I've seen too, is people put streamers up on pedestals all the time without realizing that they're human beings. It's all streaming is for entertainment purposes. And that's kind of the point of it. But then you get, and I know that Cody and I have talked about this before, how people will agree with you on a bunch of things. As soon as they disagree with you on one thing, they absolutely hate you.
Yeah.
Because you've been taken down off this pedestal where they think you're this perfect. No one's perfect. People are going to fuck up constantly. That's just part of life. And hopefully you learn and grow from it. And usually as you get older, that's something that you see, but people, I think streaming is just a little bit different than like or not a little bit, it's a lot different than a celebrity, right? Like an actor or someone who's uber famous, because it's on a smaller scale and you have a lot more interaction with people. So they feel like they really know you and you can be your authentic self, but that's sort of one self. And then you have, you have this Nick Rekieta streamer, you have the dad, Nick Rekieta, you have the husband, Nick Rekieta, you have the, doing your own hobbies outside of whatever you do, Nick Rekieta. It's interesting.
Yeah. Stop Moss says Nick should get a mangosteen juice sponsor. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
Thank you, Stop Moss. It's probably some inside joke, and I don't freaking get it. It's a fruit. It's a fruit?
Yeah, mangosteens are a fruit.
Oh, well, look at that.
No, mangoes are a fruit.
No, I'm just kidding. Also a fruit. God damn it.
Arika says, Nick, what will happen to the Jan 6th accused now? Thank you, Arika. I appreciate you for your $20 super chat.
I mean, the same thing is going to happen to them. Some of them will get resentenced based on the Supreme Court decision that the obstruction charge was overused. But basically, anyone who had sentencing under that obstruction charge or sentencing enhancements under it has to file a motion to have their case reheard. And then the government will have to specifically support that obstruction charge under the sort of test that the Supreme Court laid out, mainly that they intended to interfere with an official proceeding and did in fact interfere with the official proceeding rather than just being incidental to someone else's interference. Like if someone just walked into the Capitol building, they probably weren't necessarily intending to interfere with the proceeding and actually doing it. But someone who walked in the Capitol building was leading some chant that said, we're going to stop these motherfuckers from counting or whatever, that starts to lend itself into the sort of more intentional to the interference thing. But basically everybody who wants one can have the basis for rehearing on that sentencing.
Thank you, Arikis. Somebody said, is Zia on OnlyFans? Yes, Zia is on OnlyFans. The special edition episode of me and Zia is only $4.99 right now. So make sure
How'd you know? Yeah, make sure you do that. Also, I do have I did recently a bunch of collabs with X-Ray Girl when she was out here visiting. So we have a bunch of stuff that we're slowly releasing between the two of us. Yeah. It was a fun time. We did sex stuff, Cody. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't do sex stuff, but we did lots of we did pictures and videos, and X-Ray Girl doesn't she was the one that suggested doing the collab, and I put the ball in her court because she doesn't do the same kind of content I do. So I was like, you let me know what you're comfortable with.
Bro,
but it was really fun.
I was about to be subscribing again.
It was really fun.
Watching with 50 gifted memberships. Holy balls. Whoa. Thank you, Matthew. We love you.
Wow.
We appreciate you. Thank you. You're the GOAT as usual. I really appreciate that huge ass delicious membership gift thing. So thank you. Reformed Convict is spurging in the chat. He said I skipped his super chat. I'm actually skipping around a lot and trying to like form the conversation with like the super chats. And yours is a troll super chat, let's be honest. But his super chat says, is April there with you right now?
Is she here with me? Right. She's sitting here with me. No, she's not.
Okay. Thank you, Reformed Convict. Paul Fairford says, I cheated on Nick. Camelot got my first super chat ever. LOL, my t-shirt has shipped and we'll have it for the race. Hell yeah, dude. Oh yeah, by the way, I have a new shirt. I have a new shirt designed out right now. Somebody posted the link. I'll show it here soon. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate that. Thank you. Ashley says body inclusive chair. Thank you, Ashley.
That's the PC term for it, Ashley. Thank you.
Billy says Nick should fat shame me. Yeah, that's for damn sure. Like that's not even a joke. Like, Billy, you need to get that shit under control now.
I'll work on it, Billy. I'll work up a whole set of fat shaming for you.
He looks like a bowling ball with a head. It's fucked up.
Wait, do you work for the local police department?
I'm just kidding, Billy. Meat Puppet says, Zia is the reason I have Meat Puppet as my name. It's from playing GoldenEye and Perk Dark.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That
makes sense.
70s band Meat Puppet. Thank you, Meat Puppet. I appreciate you so much. Creative username says, yo. Thank you, creative username. I appreciate you. I'm trying to catch up on these. There's only a few left. Steph says you can do something special for Naked Snake 331. It's right around the corner. I'm gonna try. It's just, man, it's been real hard with racing. Like I'm gone from Thursday till Sunday every single week. So it's been a little bit spicy and trying to survive that shit. Thank you, Steph. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna do something though. Just remind me. Philip Kazonowski says, are you saying that you were not on coke?
It says, are you saying that was not your coke?
Oh, I'm stupid. I can't read. I'm from Alabama, bro.
What I'm saying is that it's the government's job to prove that it was. Whoever's like, I'm not the only one charged here. Lady Rackets and I are both charged with second-degree possession. They have to prove that greater than 25 grams of a mixture containing cocaine was in our possession at the time of the raid. That's their burden to prove. It's not my burden to prove anything or say anything about it at all. That's the interesting thing about the criminal system is that they have to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that it belongs to one of or both of us. That's their job. So that's what I'm saying.
Torin, which is this is an interesting one, says the angry part is the lawyers who appear to be friends and know how the system works for conviction work jumped on the state's version. He's saying that people that were friends that were lawyers now like overwhelmingly being hypercritical, I guess. Thank you, Torin. I appreciate you. Well, I don't know the specific ones, but I just know a lot of people have done it.
Well, I think what they're saying, and I've seen this criticism levied at several different Law 2 people. They're like, wait, you guys are the ones telling us that the government can't be trusted or the government makes mistakes or government narratives are wrong here, and here. But you're saying, oh, the government said this about Nick, so therefore that must be true. And look, I mean, that's on each individual person. That's up to them. What I know is what the state has to prove. And my job is to let the state try.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, you know, people are out for blood, man. And I get it. I mean, that's how the chat's been since this has started. They've been out for blood. Waff says, good night to Zia, darling. Goober hugs. Thank you, Waff. I got you. Appreciate you. Have you would you ever go on the Kino guys show?
No.
Kino. I don't know anything about them other than what they look like.
I was on one of their first shows that they did.
Yeah, because I know Warski because I've talked to him on Twitter before, but I don't know the other guy.
Yeah,
but I see him referenced so much, and I had to get Art to explain to me what felted means 3 times because I don't know what it means. I was like, wait a second, what does felted mean? And I'd have to DM Art, but hey man, what does felted mean again?
It means you have no more chips left on the table, so all you're touching is felt when you go to place your next bet.
Yeah. Now I finally get it. I had to ask it 500 damn times. So it's been a hard ass time. It's been a hard ass time to follow that shit. But somebody in chat was asking, it's like, would you go on casino? And I'm like, I don't feel like he would. How was your experience with Ethan? Did Ethan look? I haven't watched it, and it's really hard to watch. Did Ethan say anything critical or anything? What did he say? How was that conversation? Ethan, Ralph.
Oh, Ralph. It was fine. No, I mean, Ralph's not like he wanted to ask questions, but I told him in advance. I'm like, dude, I can't talk about my case, and I'm not going to say anything about Aaron other than what I've already said. So, I don't know what else you want to get out. He asked me a lot about like how I'm doing with with the kids stuff, without having my kids around and stuff like that, which I tried to be very open. Same with here, but we can't really get into the meat of the conversation. But I had to cut short because I had a visit with my kids, a phone visit with my kid, video call with my kids that obviously I wanted to get to, and I had to bounce off of his show for that, but we're going to pick up and resume the conversation hopefully this coming week. So,
all right. Well, good. Lassie Yahoo says, I'm 40 minutes behind. Good show. I ain't judging nothing after the pension Zoom and gun charge of Rittenhouse, that whole Weasley case. Good to see you, Nick. Camelot go faster now, but I'm trying. Okay, it's hard to go faster sometimes, depending on the variables at stake. But we're gonna do good at IRP. I'm excited to go to IRP. Thank you, Last of Yahoos, for another orange boy. Appreciate you. And Andy says, honestly, I haven't followed any of this, but innocent until proven guilty in a court of law or something. Well, the issue is, Andy, is that's not as fun. And like, there's something you have to kind of acknowledge when you watch all this kind of play out is a lot of people want the fun. They want it to be as entertaining as possible. They don't really care what happens. They don't really, they won't. And usually what's negative is more fun for a viewer. So that's what they're wanting to see, the most negative shit possible to happen to, because, they're viewers. And that's why it was kind of strange. And I've said it 100 times before, like, you'll learn real fast in the content creation spectrum that a lot of people aren't really like legitimately your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as something happens in your life, like they'll turn on you, man. They'll turn on you immediately. And like I've been trying to just like be as impartial as possible and just read stuff and just come to my own conclusions about like here's a scenario, here's a scenario, and it literally became the conservative and liberal, like, you're both. Like some people, I've been called a liberal, like a liberal cuck, and I've been called a Trump MAGA piece of shit because I'll say something that lines up slightly conservative, and I'll say something that lines up slightly liberal, and I end up being both. And that's how people have called me. They've said I've betrayed Nick Rekieta and I'm a piece of shit and I'm a fake friend. And also people.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just keeping you on stream long enough for, a giant dildo to just bend you over. Like, it's on the way. Amazon is bringing it right now.
And
Amazon is the name of the stripper, frankly. Like,
thank God. I've been, and I've also been called the complete opposite, like the sweepy. I got voted the #1 sweeper, and I don't know how that happened.
Good job. You must have trained with Mr. Miyagi.
I did very well. No, so yeah, but people don't realize that, it's real people, like real people that in real life. It's not just I'm not covering a GameStop or some shit like the corporate like company. I'm just talking about this thing is happening in my friend's life, so that's why I'm talking about it. And
yeah, and like I said, guys, nobody out there has the secret full story. Like, nobody does, because I can't tell it. I have to wait. It has to come out through court. It just does. So there are people out there, who have critical opinions of me. There are people out there who may like have critical moments or not critical moments. And then there are people who have my back in whether they have critical moments or not is kind of fucking irrelevant to me. Like I will try and tell people who have concerns, who I care about, like what's going on. It's hard to get around to everybody, but like I'll try and tell them like what's up as best I can. But at the end of the day, like I don't care if people have a negative opinion. Most people probably should, based on what they've seen. That's not like unreasonable. And it's frustrating to watch people do it because you go, fuck, I wish I could just go ahead and explain this thing out, but that's not how this process works. So you go, look, if I saw the same things, would it be unreasonable for me to come to that conclusion? Sometimes the answer is yes, but not always. And so if someone's like critical or says something, it's like, well, do you like, is that someone being a dick or is that someone just being a concerned friend? So I also can't keep track of almost anything. So a bunch of people could have talked a lot of shit about me and I would have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I would.
Except for Zia.
Oh yeah, of course. He doesn't talk shit about me.
I talk shit about everyone all the time. I know what you're talking about.
Somebody has sent like DM me a clip on one of the clip channels, and they perfectly cut it out to where it looked like I was saying something shitty, and I'm like, oh fuck. So I was just waiting. I was waiting for Nick to send me the shower text, be like, hey man, what the fuck? And I'd be like, oh god damn it, look, it was out of context. God damn it.
I text you for out of the shower in the shower for fun. Yeah, not for mean stuff.
I've been meaning to ask, and I keep forgetting. How does this body cam footage thing play out? Does it come out? Like, how does that work? I see people talking about it all the time.
It's really fucking muddy, and the answer is I don't really know.
Okay.
It's not so clear because the laws that control it cover basically the release of sensitive information. Everybody's like, just sign a release for it. It's like, no one's even asked me. Like the government hasn't come out and said, Mr. Rekieta, are you okay with releasing? Will you sign a release for it? No one's like offered that up. So they're like, just do this. It's like, well, no, for one. And two, like, it's not that simple because there's a law governing the usage of this stuff and the distribution of it. And, that law will be complied with or not complied with by the state. Like that's up to them. But everybody, this is the thing. I mean, I saw it in chat earlier. It's similar thing to before. They're like, just show them if you want your kids back, just show them your clean test. It's like, it doesn't work that way, homie. Like there isn't a thing where you just show them and it ends. Like that's not how the government operates, man. Like, and I hope you never have to find that out personally, but there is no, oh, just do the thing. Like that's not real. So as far as how the body cam footage works, I don't know. Frankly, that's like so far down my list of concerns right now. Is the body cam footage. I mean, I'm very curious about the body cam footage. I need to see what's on it, obviously, because what's on it will have an impact in my case. And there could be a lot of interesting stuff on there. But aside for like, as for distribution to the public, I mean, I don't know. That's not my area of law.
Right. Yeah. I still don't know. I can't even follow it. Somebody asked a good question. They said, is there an update with old Montegraph, the case of Montegraph?
I think we have a status conference coming up, something like that. But other than that, we're still in the middle of discovery. I think the discovery window ends in October. A discovery in this case is so interesting because the only thing missing is Montegraph's damages. So it's his discovery that needs to be completed. He needs to present his own information. But right now it's just kind of waiting.
Right. Yeah, I just haven't heard anything on that at all. And obviously, well, you haven't been, doing your show as much, and for obviously good reason. And I was like, I wonder what happened to this Monty guy. I haven't heard anything about that. Be Quick says, hey Nick, can you recommend a cigar? Thank you.
No, I'm bad at recommending cigars. I have no idea. Just find a big long black one and shove it in your mouth.
All cigars taste the same to me. I'm a dumbass.
No, I will say, like, if you. There are certain cigars that obviously taste very different, and those are the acid cigars. If you're gay like me, they taste really, really sweet. Like the wrappers are dipped in this like sweet coating, and it's like a wine cooler. Like everybody who smokes cigars will make fun of you for smoking them, but they are delicious. Like I said, you just have to be okay with being a little bit gay.
Yeah, the last time I smoked a cigar was with Vic Mignogna. I just smoked a cigar outside. You were there, I think. I just smoked a cigar with Mignona, and I was like, "This is great." But then all the this coating from it gets stuck on my lips and it trips my balls. I'm like, "Oh God, oh Jesus!"
Yeah, I don't. The one thing about cigars I don't like is your mouth is fucking coated and like tastes nasty for a while after. Like,
yeah.
Ugh, anyway.
Thank you, Jessica Reloaded says pre-splash for Naked Snake since I got a bounce. Love you, Jessica. We appreciate you so much for being.
Speaking of which, dude, I thought I'd be on for an hour. It's 2 hours. I love y'all, but I gotta bounce.
Dude, I appreciate you coming on. I didn't think you would, and I'm glad because we haven't talked in like real life for I feel like forever, other than through text, So
I know, man. I know.
And I know
great to see you too, of course.
Yeah, it was really nice to see you, Nick. You look great.
I know it's hard as
Appreciate
fuck every time you're on a show. I'm sure it's fucking brutal because everybody in the chat's like either going one way or the other, and it's hard to read half the shit because you're like, God damn.
Like I said, the chat stuff doesn't bother me that much. Like there are little things that I can try and correct here and there, and sometimes I get to make fun of someone and call them retarded, which makes me happy. But the main thing is like I can't really be too mad at people's opinions. Like I said, they have a limited set of information. They make those judgments based on that, and until they get to hear the other side, I can't really do anything about that. Like what? Trust me, but I can't tell you what it is that you should trust. Like you don't have any reason to trust me. I'll tell my side in court. The state will tell their side and the facts will be sussed out one way or another. That's how it goes. And so I'm not going to be mad at people for having negative opinions. The main thing is it's really difficult figuring out what you can and can't talk about. And being very careful about that while trying to be, I've pretty much built my entire show off of being pretty damn open about things and talking candidly. And I really have to rein that in a whole lot to do my own shows and to appear anywhere else. So, but I appreciate you guys having me on because love you both. And it's been way too long.
Yeah, dude, it was fun. It was fun. I would like to have you on again and talk about different shit. But you know how the chat, free everything just fucking rolls in that direction. You can't stop it. So
yeah, man, that's how it goes. But hey, catch you guys later. I appreciate it. To the chat, love you all, even the weird ones. Captain, have fun. You're still gay. So gay.
Bye, Nick.
Bye, guys. Peace.
And then it was down to 2. Yeah, I didn't expect Nick to come on. And look, I know it's such a hard subject matter, and it's not easy for Nick. It's not easy for anybody else. And I know that the chat wants blood. I get it. You want blood, and you're just not gonna get. You're not gonna get people. Nick's not gonna join your show for you to just go after him. And I don't have any reason to go after him. I don't want to go after him. He's there's some crazy ass allegations out there, and I'm still, since the beginning, I'm hoping for the best to play out. Because again, it's a dude I know in real life. It's not a game or entertainment for me. It's just like trying to catch up and see what's going on. And, and I'm sure if there's some bad shit that's happened and it fucking all comes to light, he's still going to have to work through it. And he's still gonna have to do what he needs to do to be successful and, do what's right by his family. And so, it's just like he says, and this is one thing I'll definitely agree with him on, is it takes a long time. Shit's not going to come out until, the court happens. And you know how the government is. They work at a snail's pace.
Oh, yeah. It's going to take a long time. Yeah, literally, I've said from the beginning is all I hope for is that him and his family are good and safe and healthy and things work out the best way they can for everyone involved. Yeah. That's the only thing I have to say about it.
Yeah. Somebody in chat said, why do I pick my nose so much? So I have like a lot of hairs in my nose, and I keep they keep tickling the hell out of me, and also deviated septum. So I do that. And then also I pick my nose a lot. So it's all combined into making it look like I pick my nose a lot, but I do also pick my nose a lot anyway. It's an Alabama thing.
Now it's just both. You're trying to breathe and also get the bugs out.
Yeah, get the bugs. Make sure you guys do me a favor because I have not talked about this once today. Oh, by the way, we're 300 likes away from goal. Thank you guys so much for supporting your boy. Make sure you like the show. It helps me out a ton to like my show. So really appreciate all that. And again, thanks for Nick to come on and answer some questions and shit. Because again, I know it's hard as fuck for him, especially for the troll questions that are brutal. and he's a good sport trying to answer all those things. So here is, I should have probably done this better instead of clicking the freaking dashboard. And Farbin, I see your other Rumble rant. I appreciate that. Okay, here no, damn it. I want to see the damn thing. Damn you. I want to see the thing. Maybe this works. I don't know. I probably can't do this from this window here. Nope, can't do it. You sons of bitches. I can't believe this. Let's see if this link works. How about this? We're just going to see if this link here works. I doubt it will, but we're going to try it anyway. Yeah, it doesn't work. All right, well, I'll just get the link. Somebody in my group chat on Twitter, Mick Stellar, can you post a link to my new merch, my new racing merch? Anyways, all right. So, how you been doing, Zia?
Oh, just trying to sell a house and dealing with some health shit. It's just like nothing exciting. I've missed more streams than I streamed with 103-degree fever, and I've missed 4 streams recently. Life's just kicking me in the ass right now. But I'm supposed to be moving next week Monday. House should hopefully selling a house is such a ridiculously long process. It's freaking insane.
I remember. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if it's my area, but when I put my house up for sale, it sold 4 days later.
Yeah.
And it was like we waited for 4 days for the offers. Then I sold it, and then the process started immediately. And then the new house I bought, the owners let us move in 2 weeks early before closing. So it was such a seamless transition. It was so
That's
easy.
So nice. I'm not buying again now because I haven't decided what I want to do yet and where I want to live. But selling is, what was I going to say? Just like the process of it and getting to it. But yeah, with the way the market is, like, it's been insane. We listed the house over the weekend, got offers started coming in on Tuesday. Our realtor called for best and highest. And we had, I think, like 18 offers or something like that just over the weekend. It was freaking wild.
That's crazy, man. It happens that fast.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of that fast, here's my link to my new racing merch. Please consider grabbing one of these bad boys. It's a really cool design. I'm really enjoying it. We've sold an ass ton of them already. They have tank tops, hoodies, everything. Wear it to one of my races. Let me sign it for you. I've had so many people show up in my old shirt, well, my shirt from last month, and it's just really humbling and cool, and to see this that people actually do that.
That's awesome.
So I really it helps me out so much in traveling costs for racing, and make sure you. This one might be a very limited edition one. We'll know Monday. Thank you so much, by the way. So everybody, thank you so much. And if you can't pick one up, just take a gander at it and look how beautiful it looks. So thank you guys so much for that. Really helps me out a lot. Really. Also, Diecast Driven says Cyberfrog car is coming along. Thank you for the new diecast for that. Wav says Saw 01 loves you even more than I do. And says hi.
Hi, Saw. Hi, Billy. Even more.
That.
Oh wow.
Wow. Karos says, see all the damn things. Hey. Nice to see you and Zia back. Flying to Little Rock tomorrow. Be safe, my friend.
Oh shit.
Be safe, and don't forget to let me know when you're streaming so I can raid my boy. Thanks for all your support. Thank you, Karis. We love you.
Karis, I stopped in Little Rock when I drove from LA to New Jersey when I moved over. And Little Rock is actually, I mean, I didn't see a lot of it. We were only there for a night. We went to this Asian food place that was freaking awesome, delightful. But yeah, it's actually kind of a cute little town, city. I don't know what to call it. It was nice. Yeah. I liked it.
Where's that? Illinois? Where is that? Illinois?
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Arkansas. Wow, I didn't know that was.
I think that's where Bill Clinton is from, and so there were a bunch of like Bill Clinton is here. Wow. Yeah, Karis, you should check it out. Like, there's a downtown area, and if I'll try to find where that place was. Maybe I can send it to you. If you like Asian food, it was so freaking good.
Thank you, Karis. I appreciate you. Oh my god, I remember when I kind of broke my diet for the first time when we went to Pocono. Remember, you picked me up.
Oh yeah, no, it was hysterical. You know, but also there was, when you were super wasted, I think I was either eating a donut or pizza, and you came up behind me and you like sort of whispered, Sia, I had a bite of pizza, and I opened the pizza box, and there's one slice of pizza sitting off to the side that had just like one little Cody bite taken out of
Yeah,
it.
dude. I got down to like 170, and then started the racing season traveling. Now I'm back up to 190, and I'm like, God, it's so hard, man. I'm just so hungry.
Dude, through all of this shit, I understand like where Nick is coming from with like, and I don't drink. So a lot of what I've been doing is definitely stress eating and going through just like a ridiculous amount of bullshit lately. I haven't been able to work out because of health shit. And then I have just been like sort of stress eating. I gained 10 pounds and I haven't really gained any more weight, but I've lost none of it since this surgery. And I'm tired of it. I can wear exactly 2 pairs of pants and one of them is my overalls. I've been walking around looking like a goddamn hillbilly for months.
Yeah, I just look fat all the time and it makes me sad. My abs are 100% gone now.
I've got look like nothing. There's no abs left.
It still looks pretty good actually.
Soft trash.
Oh, never mind. When you bend over, it looks pretty gross.
Yeah, look at that. What is this? What's
Jesus.
happening?
Oh,
God.
Josh says, I wish I could afford a house. We love you, Josh. We appreciate it.
Josh, I can't afford a house. That's why I'm selling it.
TV's Will Heron says, great man. Or hey man, great job today. Thank you. I appreciate you. Love you. Sensitive subject matter. I didn't actually expect to be talking about it. But I'm glad Nick came on, and I know it's hard for him, and it's just a brutal situation. So yeah. And I've been hypercritical. And that's why I said it's so relieving to hear that he's clean and he's sober. I'm like, well, hell yeah, that's like the first biggest step. Yeah, that's what I was really hoping would happen, and it has. And he says, obviously it's easy when it's court ordered. Like, yeah. So but yeah, so that's a very good thing to hear.
Look, this is not, I know, like you said, people are out for blood. This is not the first time I've seen this happen to people really, really close to me. And I don't even know the whole story. So I'm saying this happened. Like I know what's happening, but I don't. And none of us know the full story, but I have a cousin and I have a sister. And for people who have heard my stories, my sister, is in prison now. And I have a cousin who, I don't know if she actually ever went to jail or went to prison, but she might have. She had 6 kids and she lost them all. She lost custody of all of them. She was severely on meth and severely abused in the backwoods of fucking Hawaii. And her boyfriend at the time almost cut her leg off with a machete. She ended up in a hospital. My sister's in prison for insane meth charges. She lost her 2 kids. And it's really, and the only thing I can say about it is it's fucking heartbreaking, man. It's really, really, really sad. It's just awful to see. And when my cousin got her life together, she moved to the mainland. She got clean. She got sober. She got all of her kids back. She's been working. It's just seeing that makes me so happy. It's like the happiest and that's the only winning in that sort of situation. And it's rough. It's really rough.
Yeah, it's a brutal situation. And
yeah.
Like I said, hoping for the best outcome ever.
Of course.
As possible. Because shit happens, man. Shit happens, and I'm not so quick to like wish death on people. It's just not.
No.
Even when I don't know them, man, I don't really wish death on people. But
I've never wished death on anyone in my entire life.
Well, I think,
well, that's not true.
It's
pedos and whatnot straight to the
yeah,
wood chipper, but that's a different thing.
That goes without saying. I don't live in California, so I agree with that. But no, the thing is, it's hard to judge people's actions when it comes to like them watching it, because
right,
again, it's entertainment. It's it's the same thing as I use the analogy of in the 80s and 90s, people would watch football and it was like the thing they looked forward to was what was happening in the NFL world, and they were watching the draft and they were watching every single talking head segment all the way up to leading up to their games, and they would throw beers at the TV and scream, and they go to bed. And now that entertainment shifted towards online creators, in a way, and they create these parasocial relationships, and people want other people dead. And I don't feel like they actually want them dead. I don't think people care that much. But it's whatever the most negative outcome is what they want. So people were really confused as they were like, well, what if all this is true? And I'm like, well, I mean, if these allegations turn out to be true, I still want the best outcome for everybody because it's the best outcome. It's not the worst one. I don't want the worst outcome. That makes no sense to me.
Exactly.
And I'm like, what do you want? Do you want the death? I don't get it. I don't get like what is that is that the funnest outcome? I don't know. But then again, there are probably some people legitimately out there that want some terrible shit to happen because again, most entertaining thing for them to happen.
Entertaining, but also I think a lot of those people that hate a lot tend to be hurting themselves on the inside. I mean, that's a lot of what it is. Yeah. You don't get happy, well-adjusted people being like that. That's never the way it works.
Well, dude, I've seen on random ass posts on racing that aren't even my posts. It's like posts that somehow my car like appeared in, and people just know who I am because of like whatever YouTube or whatever it may be. And like when I wrecked at Iowa, when I got spun and hit the wall, there was a guy that was like, it sucks that he survived that wreck, and I'm like, how are you that passionate about a random dude on the internet that you want them to die?
So wild.
It's crazy. I don't even want like people I dislike to die. I just don't get the passion, man. It's weird to me.
I honestly think it's a bit of a mental illness.
Yeah. But again, like, you know, I think a lot of this isn't real for people. So people are very confused as to why I may defend Nick in some way, shape, or form, or give him the benefit of the doubt in some way, shape, or form, or even be critical in some way, shape, or form where I have on shows and people clipped out, and then people get mad at me for that. So people get mad at you regardless of what you say. They're gonna be mad at you for or against. Thank you, Emil. Appreciate you. So that's just how that is. And Indiana,
100%.
Indiana, the dog says if Gray Hat private investigators got cell phone messages between the judge, prosecutor, and chief of PD showing corruption, and it showed up on your desk, is threatening to release leverage or extortion. I wish I would have read that earlier. Well, he might be behind because it's pretty recent on Rumble. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Zia showing her legs different for Cam than for Nick. I love him.
I pay absolutely zero attention to any of that.
Dude, I'm all for it. I love fat titties and fat legs. And I'm not even a titty guy, but I just appreciate the fat ones.
I was going to say, you always said you liked Mewtwo bodies. Flat titties up top, big legs down bottom.
I do, but I can appreciate the fat titties.
I think just all boobs of all shapes and sizes are quite nice. I like them.
Yeah, I really like all, unless they're like droopy, like orangutangy.
Yeah, I've seen ones where, you know, the women in my group and that get the lift and the implant, and I can see why. It's just, I totally get it, where they're completely flat all the way down to like here. Yeah. And then it's just like, I understand. Yeah. I understand.
So what do you got coming up, Zia? You got anything spicy coming up?
Nothing super spicy. Snack stream at 8 p.m. on my YouTube channel, Zialand, Xialand. Then I'm going to be, I'll be streaming my usual Tuesday and Thursday. After that, I got to pack everything up because we're moving on Monday. So things are going to be a little hectic. But I do have a lot more X-Ray Girl content coming out with her. So we released our first set. If you guys want that, you can message me on OnlyFans and I can send it to you. That is not going up on Fansly because she's not on Fansly, and you have to tag the person that you're with. So that's going to be all on OnlyFans. We have a bunch more photos and videos and all kinds of stuff that we're going to both be sending out on both of our pages. So it's Zealand on OnlyFans. I do have a Fansly as well that I'm also putting stuff out on there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now until I move and things settle down and I can start to like get back into the flow of everything again.
Yeah. Degenerate. Thank you.
Total degenerate. Yeah.
People were like, Cam Logic. Somebody messaged me. This was when we were still doing our show regularly.
Oh, this is amazing.
Somebody messaged me and was like, how dare you have like a thought on your show? Like, do you even know that she's like a thought? And I'm like, yes. That's why she's on my show.
That's my friend. That's why she's on my show. And also, do they think that you're somehow not a degenerate? Is that what they're trying to insinuate?
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, dude, I'm all about some ass cheeks, bro. You know?
Oh no.
And I have never once said I wasn't. Okay. Bro, my content was like Tinder stories for a whole year, and they got ruthless in those Tinder stories.
I remember hearing some of those. Yeah, I don't know.
Thoughts and prayers. Captain Zap Brannigan.
And I'm the thoughts. Steph, I love thoughts too. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh
Teach their own, I suppose.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Appreciate you. Got my shirt order you need to sign. Hey, you ordered a new shirt, Karis. Thank you so much, friend. I appreciate that. The link is right here for the new shirts. Go give them some love. I really appreciate that. almost to 100 sold. That'd be really cool to get that 100 sold, son. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Did you hear that single women now own more homes in the U.S. than single men?
Is that true?
Yeah. Well, and the reason a lot of people were making some really, really good reasons as to why in the comments on my Twitter, and it's because they're like, well, divorce, and I'm like, oh, that's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a variable in the survey
Possible.
though.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know about that. Because when you get a divorce, you have to. One party has to buy the other party out usually of the equity in the house, and then assume the mortgage payments. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say I bought my house 100% with my money.
Yeah. Same. Both houses.
I can say that much.
Both houses. Yeah. I'm waiting for them to get taken. My when I got a divorce in 2016, 17, it was pretty amicable.
Amicable, but you got it. You're close.
And it was great. Like, she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna dip out. And I'm like, all right. And that was the end of it.
I mean, that's honestly best case scenario.
Yep.
Like, that's the best you could have hoped for. You guys didn't have kids. She had her own career. She didn't ask anything of you, and you just got to go your own separate ways.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end. Thank you, Steph, for calling me Chody Penison. I appreciate you.
Chody.
Oh, Chody. Boys, I'll be back on Monday. Don't forget Monday. It's just definitely a stream you don't miss. Oh, maybe you can afford to miss it. Maybe everything will go better than I'm hoping. I think it'll go good.
Fingers crossed. I got my fingers crossed for you because guess what, Chat? I know what it's about. Sorry,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The chat, you'll know once if it goes in a negative way. The chat will see the thumbnail immediately on Monday, and they'll be like, "Oh my god!"
They will know.
I'll talk about it. I won't talk about it. But I'm thinking it's gonna be all right. So it's gonna be wild. Pippa, no, not Pippa. What the hell? What?
Pippa? That drama's been over for so long.
Okay.
That drama was hilarious. I remember reading it and I was like, why is everyone so mad?
No, old to Pip. So are you doing Nick and Snake or are you not doing it?
I'm always doing Nick and Snake.
Oh, well, shit. All right, cool. I didn't.
Let me go put a bikini top on.
Do it. Let's do it. We're gonna do Nick and Snake together, classic style, and then we're gonna raid. I don't remember. Fuck who. I don't remember who I was. Maybe Yellow Flash. Did I choose? Hold on, let me look. Is it Yellow Flash? Yellow Flash. Hey, it is Yellow Flash. All right, we'll raid Yellow Flash. Give him some love. In the chat. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Cody Penison in the 11 car. Yep, that's me. That's me. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't think anybody would ever guess what it could be about, and you may never know. Let's hope. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. It's nothing like life shattering or anything. It is to a certain aspect, but it's okay. Well, I just won't talk about it until maybe we know. So it's gonna be fun. I can ask Diecast Driven. I can ask. So we will ask. Yeah. Thank you guys, by the way. Make sure you guys make sure you guys like the show. We're 250 away from the goal. I'm sure there's a lot of dislikes. And that's fine too. But make sure you guys like the stream. Helps your boy out a lot. Had a lot of fun tonight. I'm just glad I got to talk to Nick in some shape or form or capacity. Kind of, hear his side officially for like the first time instead of having to watch freaking random shows he's appearing on and shit. So, regardless of not if you believe what he says, it's good to hear it from the source, I guess. So anyways, yeah. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Here we go. We're going to do Neck and Snake for the 322nd time.
Oh my goodness.
I think. I don't remember.
320. That's amazing. I can only dream to get to that point.
Yeah, you're what is your streak?
I think my bikini streak now is at 108, I believe.
Oh, that's pretty freaking beastly.
I'm amazed. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
All right. Here we go. It's time. Woff says super chat and Chody just to make Zia smile. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I could not stop laughing. Dude, I was fucking dying. And then when Ashley, oh my God, I was fucking losing it. And then when Ashley was like, Zia, I have a confession, I texted Cody because right after I started hysterically laughing about Chody, you popped up and I was like, the timing.
Yeah. Dr. Kenneth Noisewater is a new name on the car for Indianapolis, by the way.
Woo!
The Red Boys all went on the race car for Indy. Billy Hatcher is on there again. Thank you guys for all your love, all your super chats. Helps me out a lot. So thank you guys so much for that. We're going to do Naked Snake. Get on it. Doggone it. Can you hear the Zia?
I can hear it. Wait, no. Music? Yeah.
Awesome. Here we go. It's time, boys, for Naked Snake 322 in a row. Make sure you guys like the show. Give it some love. Spam that shit. We'll be back Monday. It's going to be fun. Here we go. I got to take my head off.
I'm going to go down. Actually, it was amazing. It was so good. Oh.
What a thrill
Here we go, boys.
with darkness and
Amazing. The chest hair works. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Rakin. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. You guys are going to hell. Thank you. Wolf, I didn't skip you, bitch ass. I did not at all. I already read that. You just being a bitch is what you being, Wolf. About to waff some ass at you. Come on. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. What an awesome show. I appreciate you. Get the hell on it, doggone it. Make sure you guys like the show. We'll be back Monday with an interesting show. So make sure you're watching that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to raid Yellow Flash and the Flashcast. Give them some love in the chat. Make sure you go subscribe to Zia Land. Are you at 10,000 subs yet?
No, I'm at 8,000, like 70 something.
Damn, you're
I
growing
know.
so fast.
I know.
You were nothing for so long.
I
Okay,
know. I was nothing for so long.
You were nothing, and now you're something. Oh wow, I love how it says Zia next Tuesday, Chody. Wow, okay, cool. I went to
Cody, you don't understand. I was I was just so tired and delirious that when it came out of my mouth and then it turned into a whole thing and I was like cry laughing almost.
Yeah,
It was
dude.
amazing. It was the best.
Give some love to Zia. Make sure you guys go subscribe to her. Make sure you guys like the show. And make sure you don't forget to get this shirt. It's right there in the chat right now. Give it some love. Do not forget. Helps your boy out a lot. It's beautiful. Give it some love. And make sure you come to one of my races. Look at the schedule online. Get on it, doggone it. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are goated. Get the hell on it, doggone it. We'll see you guys over in the next one. When you stream tomorrow, Zia?
What's tomorrow? Sunday? Yeah, tomorrow night at 8 p.m.
Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Go give her some love. Thank you, Ashley. Subscribe to the Pretty Girl
Ashley.
and Chody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. See you guys later. Bye, everybody.